Ugh, I better not have to do anything ever again for the rest of my life, huh? Ahoy, landlubbers! It's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. I sure hope I make it through the next 3 hours. It's Friday, November 4th. I've known on some level that it's been November since, we had the whole Halloween stream, and then time passed as though we were playing Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. But yeah, saying that out loud makes me unhappy. I don't like it. Been doing that a lot, which isn't a good sign. It means that I'm like struggling to put my thoughts together. Um, it's just like, how do I put this? It just doesn't seem okay that this much time has passed. Like, I don't understand how we're this close to the end of the year. I was like going through the what I have that equates to cable to start recording Hallmark Christmas movies, and I know I'm like behind on that. I'm further behind than I thought because like there appear to already be like 6 or 8 releases. Like normally they do like two before the end of October, and this would be the first weekend after that. So like somewhere the math is broken down and the universal constant of gravity has changed. Used to say happiness to the blank a week after I played Misfortune. It's such a good game. I recommend it. Hey, by the time this goes up on YouTube, that probably also is on YouTube, but it sure isn't there now, even though it should be. But yeah, if you're watching this and you're excited about Beacon Pines, and you haven't already checked out Little Misfortune, which is what we played for Halloween, that game is amazing. It's great. Go watch it or buy it and play it, or like all of those. Do all of them. But it's today's Beacon Pines. Let me hit several buttons. It should be working. Hey, so this game is really annoying to run for streaming purposes. I mentioned the last time that we played it that it does this weird thing where like it always wants to default to the maximum resolution every time, which is like inconvenient to me for reasons. So like it won't remember what resolution I set it at, which is like a little annoying. But then like when you change the resolution, if you move the window at all from its default of smack center in the screen, then it resizes itself for ostensibly just the purpose of screen capture. So like I had to like do a fix for that. And then when I was setting up for the stream today, it did something weird where like I had the game open and I had checked everything and the settings were fine. And then I like went to change like the title and category on the Twitch page to do the stream. And when I hit save on that, it like the window just resized itself again. Again. For like I wasn't like I didn't even do anything in the game. It just changed its dimensions again on its own. I swear to God, like streaming is like the most chaotic thing in the world. Some developer put a lot of time and effort into that, making it like break randomly for no reason. That sounds like a thing that would happen for a game that I bought anyway. Delicious says the fact that you chose every correct option and got all the glitter was amazing. I mean, I don't think the choices matter all that much. From what I understand, like only glitter matters, and like that's mainly a function of patience and time. If you're willing to just like stay on every scene way too long and glitter every possible thing, like I mean, for example, I was too slow to color in the coloring book, and apparently there's a trophy for that. I started looking into this. It's a good game. Anyway, it's Beacon Pines. Can I focus for long enough to play Beacon Pines? I'm not actually sure. Where's my mouse cursor? Hey, the computer and all of my monitors and chaos. Hello, chaos emeralds. Wish I had a chaos emerald right now. I don't know what I'd do with it. Oh, that's right. I probably want my controller for this, huh? Come to me and don't knock my hard drive off the counter. One sec. This will probably break everything. That sounds about right. Hang on while I break everything. Just like real quick. I'm doing good. This is a great start to the stream. Everyone, this could happen. God, I made that look difficult and you couldn't even see it. Okay. Um, all right. One good thing that Steam always does is allow easy switching between control styles, which I need constantly. Do you know if the Beacon Pines people made other games? I don't presently know them. I get the impression that they're like a young developer, in terms of like experience in the industry, but I haven't looked too deep into it. So can I, without invoking the story further, is there a way for... What window is up? Hello?
Secret lair.
Secret lair. Oh yeah, if you're like really astute, you're like an audiophile, the air conditioner's off today because the high was like 70. And it's like the first day in 1,000 years where I've like turned on the air conditioner 0 minutes. It's fun. It's been 90 degrees all year. I'm trying to think of like all of everything we accomplished last time. So like the first time we played Beacon Pines a couple weeks ago, we basically just got an introduction to the game and the mechanics. We like met a couple of the key characters. We didn't really get very far in the story. We knew that we were trying to go find a warehouse where something ominous was maybe happening, and it seemed like a little kid adventure until we like went there last week, and we were like dragged inside to our presumed death. So like that tone changed real quick. We got the O Poop badge. For that, we started hopping around in time because we started collecting enough. I keep calling them badges, but the correct terminology for them is charms. And I can't currently here. I'll try to do the recap after we do this page, which is unintuitive, but it's the only way the game will let me do it. Okay.
Summer forged ahead, but the nights only seemed to grow colder. Luka walked home slowly under the pale starlight, cautious to avoid any more surprises lurking in the shadows. Reaching home, he slipped quietly into bed, half dreading what they might discover the next day.
Are we gonna have more like strongly implied but not demonstrated nightmares? Also, I'm just realizing someone... hang on. There's someone VIP. So many things were happening all at once. Sorry about this, Castle Arg. I always make this look super duper hard. There, I think that took effect. So sorry, Sarah, but hey, you were VIP for Halloween. That's fun. Yeah, one of the things that happened last week, which isn't a major plot point, but really stood out to me, is like, there was this weird scene that almost felt like, well, we would love to have added something to the game, but we just forgot, or we ran out of time. But there was like a dream sequence where like the game was describing to us something that was happening with just like, it was dead black. It was absolutely no attempt at visuals whatsoever. And it was like a dream sequence thing, so I feel like it might happen again. No, I got you, Sarah. Hello, is the game? Oh no, because I clicked that to do that. Now it's like not. Okay. A little finicky, but reasonable. Oh, I'm awake now. Hey, I'm not wearing my sweater, which I think I've been wearing in like every other scene of the game since I picked it up. Also, I didn't read that. Did he say what time? Oh, the sweater's back on. Okay, now I have control of the... No, it's fine. Give me... Can we look at... Okay, so here is the family tree. Just kidding. What this actually is like the branching paths of the story. So the current branch that we're on, I think we're on the crap branch, which essentially means that, you know, we start the story, we learn about Luka's family's connection to the mysterious happenings of the town, that his father died, his mother went missing, and then his grandma came to town to look after him. And our friend Rolo like visited and said he saw something weird at the old warehouse, which is tied to the like business that failed. It was a like mulch business or something. No, fertilizer. Yeah, fertilizer. I always just want to not say the correct word for it. It's like a fertilizer business, and there was a what they call the foul harvest, which is very much it was a real tragedy. That's all situation where everyone just talks about the foul harvest and not a lot of detail. But like we've gathered enough to basically be like, hey, this was like a company town for Fertilizer Co., run by the Valentine family. And everything was great and nothing was ruined until the foul harvest, where like a really high percentage of the crops died, and everyone blamed the fertilizer company, and they like immediately went out of business, which is like kind of a weird pull because it also like ruined the whole town. Now I get that like places outside of the town like may have also made that decision and thus caused the company to collapse, which then cascaded into the town being ruined. But if it was like just the locals deciding that, it's like, well, you shot your own foot there, didn't you? But basically, we found out that like the abandoned fertilizer warehouse, like something spooky might be going on. We're gonna go investigate, and there's a point where you interact with Rolo's sister, and she wants him to do chores. And I think we're on the path where we kicked her in the shins so that like Rolo and we could investigate together. Actually, no. Wait a minute. I guess we're on the other path, right? Yeah, I think that's right. I think we're further down the path where we actually let Rolo go off and do the chores. Yeah, I think we reset that like late in the last stream. So, we used like a new charm when we were gonna be grabbed by the person doing shady stuff in the warehouse to struggle our way free. And after we did that, we had a run-in with Beck, who is now our best friend because Beck is great. And we had dinner with her parents, and it went terribly because we did the one thing we weren't supposed to do, and that wasn't even our choice, it just happened. But then, like, as we were walking home, we, like, somehow stumbled onto this very plot-relevant conversation that happened out in the open, apropos of nothing, where we learned that our grandmother was, like, wearing one of these spooky hazmat suits, which suggests that she's tied in with the mysterious goings-on after, like, someone had tried to abduct us wearing one of those suits. And then... I think it's just the next morning after that. I think this new chapter that started when we loaded the game, I think picks up like pretty close after that. I don't remember what branch. Oh, this branch, the Break versus Rumble. That was when we decided that we would be friends with Beck because the weather reflected our emotions, and we said that the storm that was approaching broke and everything was fine, and so we were good friends. So now it's the next morning after that. Our grandmother does not appear to be here, so maybe she's already up to shady stuff. But someone's knocking at the door, and maybe it's her, or maybe it's Darth Vader from Planet Vulcan. Oh, it's our friends Rolo and Beck. It's both of them. It's both of our two friends that we have. The two of them? There's two. Rolo, what on earth is that? That ridiculous thing on your head. Oh, this? It helps me think. You're gonna need a lot more of those. Joke all you want. We'll see who's laughing when I crack this case wide open. The coast is clear? Yep, whatever she's been up to this week, it's been keeping her busy most of the day. God, it took me a really long time to recap that. I'm super sorry. My brain's like running. Hey, so like, you know how like sometimes your computer's like RAM is just like super full, and like even though you're not trying to get it to do something super hard, like every single minuscule action is like super difficult for your computer, and it lags terribly, and it takes a really long time for basic functions to happen. Me this week, I'm having a rough go of it. It's fine. We'll get through it. Very well. The game is afoot.
Luka and Beck rolled their eyes as Rolo strutted across the room.
If I were a Gran, where would I hide my deepest, darkest secrets? Perhaps where you least expected?
Rolo flung open the cabinet with confidence. He
Aha.
coughed as a veil of dust hit his face.
I think it's safe to assume anything that dusty isn't what we're looking for. Or maybe that's what she wants you to think. Then again, any good detective knows not to trust their first hunch. First hunches are for suckers. And suckers are for babies, and anyone who wants a lollipop. Or anyone who visited the bank recently. Eureka! She's lit a fire in order to burn the evidence. She keeps that fire going every day, Rolo. Drat, it may already be too late. Just think of the mounds of documents lost to ash. Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Can we just think for a moment? Luka, is there anywhere your Gran doesn't want you to go? Oh yeah, the closet upstairs. So, maybe it stands to reason that we should check there first? No dice, it's locked. Well, well, well. Look who stands to reason now. I do not think that means what you think it means. Oh no, the Inferno chicken you ate hit you hard? Is that... Do you think that's better than having an Inferno chicken just attack you outright? That sounds almost like a Final Fantasy creature or something. I have no idea where the key is. If it really is important, then she probably keeps it with her. Anywhere else? She has her berry bushes. Who has ever thought, I am going to take this important thing and huck it in a bush? True. Anything else? Maybe something out of the ordinary. Well, she is always worried I'll break her fancy dishware in the kitchen. Wow, that would be a wild thing if she, like, had it, like, fired into a dish so that the only way to find it would be to break the dish, so no one would think to check there, for sure. Yeah, I find about half the time I have something spicy, it's the aftermath you have to worry about more than actually eating the thing. That is true. Doesn't matter much anyway. I can't reach the latch.
A look of realization crept onto Luka's face. All three kids snapped to glance at each other, then sprinted in turn toward the kitchen.
Oh my god, the icebox is still open and the water's still running from last week. If Neko was here, she'd be very cross. Alright, Rolo. This is your time to shine. Ah, yes. You've called upon my expert detective skills. And now I shall proceed with...
finish, Luka scrambled up Rolo's back.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey, this isn't my idea of detective work. Every squad needs a good lockpick. And every good lockpick needs a sturdy head to sit on. This is beneath my standing. Stop complaining and hold still. Got it.
The three crowded around the hutch to peer in.
I mean, just to be clear, like, it had, like, a glass front to it. I'm not saying that you would have been able to solve the mystery looking through it, but, like, you should probably already have a sense of whatever thing you're looking for before you open it. Just because, like, you can already see what's in there.
When the glass doors opened, a perfect porcelain display gleamed in front of them. Their eyes searched for anything amiss, but the only distinct feature was its impeccability.
Well, that was anticlimactic. Yeah. I don't really know what we were expecting. Like, oh, hey, let me yank on this random teacup and...
one of the teacups. It slanted forward with a hollow click. The entire hutch began to rustle and slide under its own power.
Anyone here watched Community? Yeah, I think I'm with the majority of people who say it sort of struggles over time, but in one of the later seasons, there's this absolutely ridiculous thing where, like, someone has, like, a secret entrance to, like, an underground lair, and, like, for some reason, it plays this, like, really funky theme song to, like, opening the door, and, like, the lyrics to the song basically just reference the fact that a door to a secret lair is opening. It's a really dumb joke, but I always laugh at it. Forgot American clocks haven't gone back yet. That's true, Neko. Also, that will be rectified on Sunday, I think we determined. You've missed virtually nothing other than me complaining and, like, really doing a bad job of summarizing where we've been. But, the tap is still on, and the icebox is still open, and we found a secret entrance. Secret entrance! Please don't tell anyone about it. The secret entrance, it's a secret. Seems like your Gran has been doing some remodeling. Dude, only 2 types of people have secret layers. Evil masterminds and superheroes. So, which one do we think she is? About to find out. Okay, so more of an unhinged conspiracist vibe. Oh, wow! Yeah, this cannot be good. We need to look around before jumping to conclusions. What is this? Oh. Okay, just let you know the tap was still running and the freezer door was still open. Nice, he took that very literally. Well, thank you for passing that message along, Ocadius. It's pretty important, I think. We're not made of money. There doesn't seem to be a trophy for that, like there was for the watermelon. What do we have here? Barrels marked caution, explosive. And jam jars? That's enough jam to feed the whole town. What kind of incendiary jam is your grand making? Incendiary jam is a good name for something. That could be like a magic card, but I don't know, like, in what world. Thank you for the resub, Nego. You're up to 53 months. That's so many. Here, have one of these. Good, it's still working. I didn't test that. In the distance, the reindeer kid looks like a goat. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah. There's some flexibility to interpretation of things. Maybe a band name? Yeah, Incendiary Jam is probably a good band name. Because then, like, you could have, like, a thing that happens routinely in your show be like, the Incendiary Jam! And, like, everyone just, like, solos super hard or something. Which, and this will be of interest to virtually no one, I assume. I recently discovered, like, a new Australian band that I'm completely obsessed with, called Confidence Man. And if you think that you like the same types of music that I do, you would love them. They cite some of their influences as being like Aqua and the Venga Boys, which is, like, precisely my style, and I was like, that's so very specific. But, like, they do, like, a lot of, like, 90s house-inspired stuff. It's really good, and their live shows seem totally insane. There's some footage of it I found on YouTube. It all very good. I highly recommend Confidence Man. Yeah, I've been meaning to mention it because I very rarely, like, find new bands that I'm just like, yeah, all their stuff is great. I will listen to this and tell people about the Can't Eat More. Yes, Castlearg is the current VIP. Oh dang, we have a new word, and it's incendiary. Hey, I just want to remind you all that incinerate means to burn. You wouldn't have had me walk around town delivering bombs, right? Only one way to find out.
Casually spun open a lid and dipped his finger in the jam.
That's an insane plan. Does this branch of the story end with Rolo blowing us up in our grandmother's basement? Also, the other weird thing about this, and I assume there's an explanation and I assume I know what it is, but as far as the narrative goes, our grandmother moved to town like a month ago or something, like not very long ago. So, like, it's pretty impressive that she would have gotten a whole secret layer, secret layer, installed in our basement behind the china cabinet and build up all our conspiracy theories in that amount of time. Katie says, I hope the jam is poison. Sarah says, I hope the jam is raspberry. There are 2 types of people in the world. This reminds me of a very, very good joke I saw on the Magic subreddit today, which, like, very few of you will appreciate, but it's very good. There's a Magic card called Beast Within, which basically, like, removes some problematic thing your opponent can do and gives them a beast instead. And, like, someone drew, like a llama beast to represent that, and like, Reddit just, like, made it all, just, like, there was just, like, a huge series of replies that were people just being like, a llama? He's supposed to be dead! And then just, like, a series of increasingly in-depth references to The Emperor's New Groove until I'm pretty sure the entire movie was cited by the end of the day. Raspberry jam is your favorite? See, I've never been a raspberry fan. I don't like it. Gonna eat the jam and turn into a llama. That's what I'm thinking. What is that? What was that? Is that a follow? Oh, it's Will Smith slapped me too! Hey, Will Smith slapped me too. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. We're playing some Beacon Pines. And also, I'm just recounting stuff I've seen on the internet. Because I'm just, like, totally broken today. It's a really good Disney movie. I'm glad that it gets a little more respect now as, like, a cult classic. But, like, I loved that movie from, like, the second I saw a trailer for it. And then I saw the movie and I was like, yup, it lived up to the hype. And, like, not a lot of people liked it for a really long time. We're finding Secret Jam. Not only is it Secret Jam, it's Secret Incendiary Jam. That's probably gonna blow up Rolo. I think it might literally blow him up, because this game's kind of weird. Oh, I clicked off the window for some reason, so I have to... Why did I do that? I had a reason. Huckleberries.
He smacked his lips.
He didn't die. A hint of brown sugar. And... ink?
Rollo
What?
plunged his hand in the jar, fishing out a soggy slip of paper.
Gross, the ink was running into some actual jam?
Rollo offered the slimy note to Luka and licked his fingers clean.
It's addressed to Mrs. Fratelli. A Grand Jamgram? That's good. That's definitely some stuff I would say. It says, last night I used the disguised Eris provided to scout the location. The timing window should be possible. Operation Sparkplug is a go. Oh man, are they doing a heist? Whatever it is, it can't be good. So, more of bombshell than a bomb, am I right? You're new here, so I'll let it slide. I'm the one who makes the weird jokes. Oh my god, I'm the bad joke guy. I'm the bad joke guy in all of the friend groups. What else we got?
Luka jostled each cabinet drawer in turn.
They
Only
locked?
one was unlocked. He fingered through the filing cabinet, pausing at a bulging folder labeled Walter.
Uh-oh.
For a long moment, he just stared at it.
Hey, is this game set in New Mexico, just out of curiosity? What do you got there? It's my dad. Your dad is a file folder? At least he's not a cell phone. Looks like some of his old medical files. Your dad was a doctor?
Luka nodded and caressed the label with his thumb.
Dude, these descriptions of what Luka's doing with the file cabinet are like super weirdly erotic. I'm not into it. There are synonyms for things. We don't have to make it weird. Well, are you gonna read it? Here, let me help.
Rollo swiped the folder from the drawer and began leafing through the pages.
No swiping.
He whistled to himself, barely looking at the text.
How about you actually read some of it? One sec. Dense documents such as this are a lot like a cheeseburger. Go on. It's best to skip straight to the middle. That's a bad joke. Is that a joke? It's just bad. That's where all the meaty bits live. Ah, man. What is with this whole scene? It's weird. Wow, I have no idea we were in the presence of a preeminent scholar in dense documents. And cheeseburgers, I guess. By all means,
He stopped
proceed.
at a page and mimed, holding up a monocle.
Ah, here we are. Follow-up examination of Terrence Wilby. Patient shows further signs of paleness and malaise. Body temperature continues to drop. He now describes soreness of muscles and joints. This is similar to the symptoms exhibited by Mrs. Wilby just a few days past. Still waiting on lab results from Joseph.
Rollo looked up with heightened surprise.
See? Creepy. Yeah, that's kind of disturbing. Who's Joseph? That's Mr. Nuncreed's name. That's no good. Mr. Nuncreed's the worst. If there's one name I remember in this game, it's Nuncreed, because he's none good, and I don't like him very much.
Rollo's
Wait.
finger traced across the page.
There's more scribbled in the margins. Could it be contagious? Mr. Wilby claims the tap water in his home has been contaminated. Perhaps environmental? The lab results only raise more questions. It's like he came back to this report later and made those notes. So it might be related to something
Rollo
else.
scanned through several more pages.
Here, the writing looks shaky. I just couldn't help her. The disease, or whatever it is, progresses so fast. And with his wife passing, Terrence's condition follows close behind. Exacerbated by the loss. Enough is enough. I need to take matters into my own hands.
Staring blankly at the cabinet this whole time, spoke softly.
What does it say
He
next?
rustled the folder, trying to loose more pages.
That's where it ends. What? There has to be
Luka
more.
frantically shoved the remaining cabinet folders, trying to find another labeled Walter.
Luka, I think that's the only one. It's alphabetical, see? What did he mean enough is enough? How did he take matters into his own hands? Clearly he was some sort of superhero based on the secret lair in our earlier discussion. This is
Luka slammed the
cauliflower!
drawer shut.
I feel like that expression takes on different meaning in a world where all the humanoids are also animals.
A spider web of string connected photos of people from the town, interspersed with hastily scrawled notes.
Well, she sure has kept herself busy. Is your Gran a serial killer? 'Cause I'm starting to get a vibe. Don't be ridiculous. Sure, she's just tracking movements of everyone in town out of the kindness of her heart. She puts little symbols by some of them. Yeah, Mr. Nuncreed has a check mark. The clipboards are all inside a big circle. My moms are both on here. Oh, that's troubling. Didn't they move to town like today? Both with question marks. Gus Valentine has a question mark. Eris has a question mark that's been crossed out. Mr. Kerr has a bullseye. The killer has chosen her next victim! We don't know what any of this means. Whatever it means, it's probably not good. Can I not punch this anymore? I'm just gonna do that annoying thing where the game lets me do something. Oh, hang on. There we go. The hitbox is very particular. Okay, what was I doing? I think it's just this now.
They crowded around a worn-down old map of Beacon Pines.
Cool, this looks like a treasure map. Not every old map is a treasure map, Rollo. Yeah, but every treasure map is an old map. Can't fault that logic. Look, there's even a pathway drawn on it. It starts at the entrance to town. And if
Rollo
we
carefully
follow it,
traced the path with his finger.
it leads right to...
He jabbed down at the end point.
the town square? That's the fountain in the middle of town. What a weird place to hide treasure. Rollo, that doesn't look like treasure to me. The end of the path on that map is the same symbol as the explosives over there. So it's not hiding treasure? It's a real bummer. Rollo, what's the thing you've been excited about for the past month? The festival. Well, did you just say gulp? This feels like a gulp kind of situation. Everyone will be gathered near the center of town. She's gonna blow up the festival. Not if we stop her. What was
Luka
that?
looked up from the map.
What? No, I heard it too. That was the front door. Which means someone just shut the door. Which means someone's upstairs. Shh. Quiet. Get the lights.
Beck flicked off the light. and they became statues in the dark.
I fear there are some logistical issues we failed to take into account, so it doesn't seem as though we closed the door behind us. So, someone could definitely just, like, notice a big gaping hole in the wall besides the cabinet and come down here to check it out, and we'd get caught, and it wouldn't be great. But, like, you know, like, best case scenario, it's likely Gran. Gran lives here. And, you know, she'll definitely notice that and definitely come down here and definitely find us. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of good case scenarios.
Overhead, creaking floorboards bent under slow, deliberate steps. The kids looked up, the tilt of their necks following each footfall. Then suddenly, it stopped.
I hope someone falls through the floor like the start of Moulin Rouge.
Without realizing, they'd been holding their breath. All three exhaled shakily and glanced at each other.
Hey, why do you assume that because the footsteps stop making forward motion for a limited amount of time that you're safe?
A muffled male voice broke the silence.
Oh, that seems like extremely bad news.
A final few footsteps reached the entrance above them, and the voice now echoed down the stairs.
Hello? Anyone down
The
there?
three kids shuffled to the corners without a peep. As he began to descend the stairs, the man's voice punctuated every new step. Thump.
Yoo-hoo! I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm just here to help. Just...
Thump. At the bottom step, the man paused, squinting to search the room for signs of life.
Huh. Guess it's nothing.
Rollo shifted suddenly.
I like that it bothers to, like, demonstrate his silhouette. Like, he's the one who goofy, gotta see
Luka
that.
gave him an intense, chastising look and whispered through clenched teeth.
Oh yeah, because, like, whispering helps the situation, no matter how bad that mistake was, huh? Oh,
It was
don't.
too late. Rollo was already inching toward the stairway. He screeched as he charged toward the shadowy figure.
Flaming chicken coop!
With all his weight, Rollo tackled the man to the ground.
Rollo? Mysterious creepy man? Anyone
From
there?
the dark corner, they saw something move.
Well, I didn't know if I had it in me, but there was only one way to find out. Holy crap, Rollo, that was awesome. Wait, did you just kill that
Luka
guy?
scrambled to the hunched figure on the ground. Pressing his fingers to the man's neck, he sighed with relief.
You sure clobbered him good, Rollo. He's knocked out
As
cold.
Beck flicked back on the light, Luka and Rollo both gasped in stereo.
Mr. Tolliver!
Chapter 7.
Oh, it's chapter 7
The
now.
interrogation of Hiram Tolliver. Still unconscious, Mr. Tolliver slumped heavily in a shoddy old chair. His hands were bound with rope, his feet tied with some loose string.
I mean, I don't feel like that string's gonna do that
The
job.
kids huddled in a circle, discussing their plan. One thing was certain. They couldn't just let Mr. Tolliver go. They needed to know what he was doing in Luka's house. After some deliberation, it was decided.
That they were gonna kill him. Cold-blooded children. Oh no, they'd run the classic good cop, blank cop interrogation. I feel like there's, like, a really good option out there somewhere that we do not possess. Also, the game won't let us do good cop, poop cop, because, I mean, that's kind of just, I mean, that's just, like, too real, I guess.
They'd run the classic good cop, chill cop interrogation.
Can I use fire? Regrettably, no. If you didn't see it there, I can't use it, is the way it works. It's not like there's a sub-menu I dig into. When those choices come up, whatever is displayed are the available options, and it's usually very few. And one of the one of the few, like, sincere complaints I've had about the game is how frequently you come up to one of those choices with no actual choice in tow. Good cop, slap cop. That should definitely be an option. Where, like, one person's like, hey, I'm your friend, I'm here to help you. And the other one wordlessly just keeps slapping the interrogate T. And it's like, what am I supposed to take away from this? Please, just tell us everything you know. Slap! I'll handle this. Just gotta play it cool.
Luka walked calmly to the light switch, flicking it off and on a few times.
Is that because he is obsessive compulsive?
Mr. Tolliver shook his head, gathering his wits.
Golly, sure got my
He
bell
looked
rung.
over to find Luka, who returned a calming grin.
Sorry, Mr. Tolliver. This was all a big mistake. Luka, what's going on here? Why do you have me strapped down? No one's fault, really. These things just happen. Oh, just got a little startled, that's all. Rolo's
Rollo
here?
and Beck emerged from hiding to give a timid wave.
Well, alright. Mistakes happen. You kids gave old Hiram a good scare. Let's just get me out of these ropes and call
Luka
it even.
glanced over to Rollo and Beck, who replied with skeptical looks.
Mr. Tolliver, why are you in my Grand's basement? I'm here to help, of course. Help with what? What's my Gran up to? If you'll just cut me loose, I can show you. How do we know we can trust
Mr.
you?
Tolliver exhaled with disappointment.
Luka, have I ever done wrong by you? No. And since your Gran moved to town, haven't I been nothing but welcoming? Yeah. So why would I turn my back on your family now? It's just... all this stuff seems pretty weird. Board with names of people from town. An archive of my dad's old disturbing patient
Luka
notes.
gestured to the corner.
Barrels of explosives? I can explain everything, although my head may explode in the process. You just need to untie me. You kids deserve an
Luka
explanation.
looked again to Rollo and Beck. This time they shrugged. Luka began to slowly loosen the bindings. Mr. Tolliver gently rubbed his wrists.
That's a good lad. This'll all make sense in
He
time.
edged imperceptibly toward the stairs as he spoke.
You see, this town has secrets, Luka. Very dark past
Before the
indeed.
kids had even noticed his movement, Mr. Tolliver was at the light switch.
A past that must be
He
brought to...
punctuated his final words by flicking the switch and rushing up the stairs.
Let me guess. Light? Yeah.
Beck
Son
darted to
of
the
a-
wall and turned back on the lights. It was too late. Rollo confirmed what they all heard.
He just locked us down
Mr.
here.
Tolliver's muffled voice came from behind the door.
I wasn't lying, you know. This is for your own good. You kids just keep tight down there. And let the adults
They
handle
looked
this.
bewildered at each other.
Play it cool, huh? Not now, Beck.
They heard the staccato thump of quick steps exiting the house. The kids looked down in resignation. This isn't how it goes in Hank Atomic. For some reason, they'd always assumed it was up to them to save their town. Luka opened his mouth, hoping to conjure some magical words to make this right. Only a hollow croak escaped.
Because this is why you have to use Fire Cop. Frankly, I think Knife Cop would be better, but that's because Knife is a reliable solution in most of our endeavors. However, this game, like many adventure games, will not allow me to use Knife on person.
And... well, we certainly aren't going to find a grand resolution to our tale locked in a basement. Back to the drawing board.
Okay, so that's not it. Which means we have to not be friends with Beck, I think, is our current only option, despite the fact that we keep getting cool badges that don't do anything. I don't know quite how to articulate this. I've enjoyed this game a lot so far, And I like this core mechanic of like finding these secret words and them letting you do different stuff. Even if like some of them ultimately only have the application of being like silly alternate endings, like that seems fun in and of itself. But like I've collected as many as I can get, and very few of them have been relevant. And then like when I get a cool one like Incendiary, I'm like, oh man, like what a cool thing I must be able to do. And it turns out like it doesn't do anything at all. And like that feels weird. Also, hey everyone, check out this page number like right next to my face. Nice. It's a good page to be stuck on. But yeah, I think the only thing we can change right now is to go back to the weather choice. So this is like right after dinner with Beck's parents, right? Surprise, Luca turned around. He knew Rolo could be prickly around new people, but Beck seemed cool. Rolo would warm up to her eventually. Probably. Luca began to respond, but the sky answered for him as the clouds above began to rumble.
Luca
Let's
began
get ready to
respond,
rumble.
But the sky answered for him as the clouds above began to rumble with ominous thunder.
You sure we can make it home before this storm kicks
Luca
off?
surveyed the roiling clouds.
I'd say the odds are good. Maybe you should stay here and I'll just make a break for
At that
it.
moment, the heavens opened up, unleashing torrential rain.
Torrential rain. Hey, Angel, welcome to the stream. Sorry for the family drama. I hope it is resolved, and I am happy for you to be here. Care to recalculate those odds? Hurry inside before you catch cold. Okay. So we stay here, so the difference is that we don't overhear the conversation with Gran, and thus we don't get locked in the basement. Luca, Nellie will keep trying to reach your Gran on the phone. In the meantime, you two hold tight. Sorry, not much to do up here. Most of my stuff is still in the boxes. Mind if I poke around? Oh my god, I would like fight someone to death. I would sooner strangle my new friend than let them do this. Be my guest. Can I have your flowers?
Luca bent down to examine the bouquet of wilting flowers. Judging by the odor, they were well past their prime.
Cool. Oh, sick, I got stink flowers.
He flipped open the attached card.
Happy trails from Coach Walker and all the Fairview Condors. Boy, you weren't kidding about poking around, huh? It's like literally the first thing I saw in this room and the first thing I looked at. It's literally not even like in a box. It's not even hidden away. It's on the floor. Pungent cop. For some reason, I don't think Pungent cop is like gonna be a cop option, or a coption, if you will. But man, that would be a hilarious strategy, wouldn't it? We're just like sitting there huddled around. The guys like coming to, they're like, "What's the plan?" And then you know, like Luca's just like, "I know exactly what to do." And then he just like farts real loudly, and he's like, "Yep, that's me, Pungent cop." The most recent one, yeah. Some schools gave me going away cards. Some did flowers. When they're really trying to feel good about themselves, they do both. So, you've moved a lot. Yeah, that's the thing with having a brilliant parent. There's always a better job somewhere else. These flowers would last longer if you put them in some water. That's the sort of thing I would do if I cared. Well, if you cared enough to keep them is all. Oh, wow. Rolo and I have a radio just like this at the treehouse. Probably not exactly like this one. My mom and I tore the whole thing down to the bolts. Fitted it with some state-of-the-art vacuum tubes. Seems pretty awesome. Yeah, she gets carried away sometimes. And I think she feels guilty for working too much. So when she does have time for me, she showers me with high-tech overcompensation.
Luca flicked at one of the toggles.
Yeah, I bet you can get all sorts of stations on this. Not out here in the boonies. You wouldn't believe the stuff I could pick up back in the city, though. Around here, it's all farm reports and static. Yeah, true that, true that. Since my job is adjacent to radio, I will call into a lot of business offices at radio stations, and while you're, like, waiting to get connected, often you'll hear, like, the like, local programming. One of my favorites is this guy who's not really pleasant to work with. Literally anytime I call his station, it's just this guy, like, reading basically, like, local Craigslist ads for, like, tractor parts in, like, a complete monotone voice. It's as reliable as clockwork. Ah, shucks. I love that this is a game where the main character says shucks and also, like, hard swear words.
Luka squinted into the eye hole of the microscope.
This looks wild. What is it? Gum.
Luka adjusted the slide with his fingers to get a better look.
I'm tracking the structural integrity of gum with increasing amounts of chewing. Chewed that one for 47
Luka wiped
days.
his hand off on his sweater and gave a nervous laugh.
You're extremely terrible. It's weird,
Beck
I know.
looked down, timidly tapping the ladder with her feet.
You think it's weird, don't you? A little. But weird can be cool. Luka, can I ask you something? Of course. That's a big jump. Dang, didn't that hurt? I'll be honest. That hurt more than I expected. Well, at least you look cool doing it.
Beck took a moment to watch the rivulets of water running down the window.
Do you ever feel alone? Do you believe in life after love? You feel alone even when people are around? Well, Rolo can be pretty absent-minded sometimes. I'm serious. Does it ever feel like your family doesn't care what you want? It didn't used to feel that way. I know Gran loves me, but sometimes when she looks at me, it's like she's looking at a problem.
Luka took a deep breath, exhaling slowly.
I know the feeling. How do you deal with that? I guess I haven't yet. One thing my dad told me when I was little: don't hold a grudge, especially against yourself. If you try to hold it all in, you're gonna pop. And once you pop, the fun don't stop, or something. So then what do you do when you don't know what to do? Dad never got to that part. But maybe if we go back to that fishing flashback, we can find out by burning some fish. Something I figured out on my own, though. You gotta do something. Anything. Here. Now you're wet and miserable. What are you doing? I don't know, something. Gotta register our complaints with the storm. This is like, what's that one called? What is that one called? Garden State? When they go to the junkyard and they're all covered in trash bags and they scream real loud in the rain? It's like that. Listen here, you miserable universe. Stop jerking me around. I just want things to go back to the way they were. Everyone tells me it's gonna be alright. Things are gonna change.
A feral scream that echoed into the night.
Now, I feel like there's a known problem when the narrator comes in and we, like, dip down the background audio. I feel like we know that the balance is weird when it has to do that by default. Every time something changes, everything gets worse. Well, that's a real mood for me. That feels very familiar. Screw! This town. Whoa. Let me try. Moving sucks. I hate it. I hate it, I hate it. Why can't I just deal with it and be happy for my mom? Why can't we just stay somewhere?
Her voice dropped to a trembling whisper.
I just want to be a normal
Beck
kid.
brushed off her shirt and straightened up.
There. Wow, I actually feel a little
As
better.
abruptly as it began, the storm abated.
Thanks. I needed that. Me too. I should head out before the rain starts up again. Sure, I'll walk you out. See you and Rolo at the festival? Sounds good. Luka, don't let the universe jerk
Beck
you
gave
around.
Luka a light thump on the arm before heading in.
Ah, my weak spot!
Chapter 5.
We're only at chapter 5?
Friendly Feud. The air was heavy with the hard rain's residue.
It
The
wet.
smell of wet things.
It wet.
Despite his dreary surroundings, Luka felt at peace.
And probably a little
He'd
wet.
never shared those details about his dad with anyone, not even Rolo. But it's not like this changed anything. Rolo was still his best friend. Adding Beck to the group would help balance things out. Everything's better in threes. This is what Luka told himself as he headed to the treehouse.
Down there. I mean, well, since rain falls, I assume it's going to reach the lowest point, right? Water tends to do that. So yeah, you could say that it's like wet down there for sure. At the very least, you should be like prepared for it mentally. Like pausing to open a door to make sure everyone with you is ready for the door to be open. I don't think anyone actually finds that as funny as I do, but like it gets so much worse as the series goes on. It's just ridiculous. So I say, oh, hey, it's Dawn! Hi, Dawn. You're a great character. I love you. Hey, Dawn, tracking down a lead? You bet! I heard a juicy new rumor. Turns out, when Sharper Valentine died, he left behind a peculiar last will and testament. Peculiar how? He didn't just give his kids inheritance. There were conditions. Like what? The document stipulated that Eris had to take on a child as her ward. A kid our age who showed up to town one night with a lawyer. Solomon? Bingo! So Eris was forced to take care of him? Yep, or she would have lost everything. Why would Sharper care so much about some random kid? Rumor has it, old Sharper sowed some wild oats. Oh man, did I ever tell you about the time that no one in my office knew what this expression meant? And it caused the whole thing? My elderly former co-worker slash neighbor, like randomly said to like a younger new hire that something about like, I'm gonna sow my wild oats, and I'm like, well, technically that's not possible. And she's like, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, not gonna have this conversation with you. And then like everyone in the office started sort of like discussing it, and then like someone looked it up and they were like, oh my god, oh geez. Nico says they're all farmers. They probably mean this literally. I mean, the context makes it very clear that's not true, but at the same time, normally that would be a reasonable conclusion to draw. That explains the way Eris treats him, like hot garbage. Poor Solomon. How did you find all this out? A good reporter never reveals her source, Luka. You don't know the other meaning, you assume they want nice porridge. It's not nice porridge. It isn't. You ever hear the expression, like, spreading one seed? It's the same concept. I better not dilly-dally. Gotta go to the treehouse. That doesn't seem like the next thing to do. Hope I don't have to talk to Nun Creed. Now, I know it said not to dilly-dally. But, like, what if? Just, like, bear with me on this. I use fire on none, create storm. Now, I know we're joking, but you'll know when I'm able to use fire. Because I'll use fire, and also it will be very clear that I can use fire. Excuse me, what are you doing? Just locking up for the night, sir. Oh, wonderful. I can only assume this means all festival preparations have been completed ahead of schedule. Not exactly, sir. The storm set us back a bit, and it's getting late, so we all decided to... You all... decided? Yes, sir. I was unaware that your job involved deciding things. We are all here at Perennial Harvest because we believe in creating a better future, yes? Yes, sir, very much, sir. Do you want to be the one to tell this town that we failed them? Well, no. That we gave up because there was a little rainstorm and we all got sleepy? Of course not, sir. Good, then it's decided. Yes, sir. We'll work till the task is done. See that you do. A harvest awaits. Yeah, ain't nothing creepy about that. Yeah. I mean, Mountain Slap is definitely the type of thing that I would do by myself in this game for no reason. You've seen me play games and I always find something to abuse relentlessly as if to make a, like, not funny meme. However, everyone seems to like Mountain Slap, and that works out well for me. I'm glad that you enjoy it too. What 800 are you slapping? Wonder what exciting news I could get from that number. Hey, maybe I can burn things in a flashback and forget the pain that I felt in a dream. Oh, for some reason I thought I walked into the chair. Hold on, hang on, hold it. I don't have fire lore, but I have stink lore.
A twig of thyme around the hook. Some fish have refined taste.
Oh, yep. Yeah, someone suggested this last time I was doing this. This seems like a good compromise, because, like, straight up pulling seems to, like, actually not work. Is that a pocket watch? Property of Sharper Valentine. Figures. He had his way, property of Sharper Valentine would be written on everything in this town. Should we give it back to him? He may not even want it back. Man's got a contentious relationship with time. We'll keep it here in case he ever wants to pick it up. Have I unraveled, like, a plot thread, or does that not mean anything? Also, am I misremembering because I wasn't paying that much attention to it, or did we use the smell of time to get something that represents the concept of time? Are you pun appreciators in chat appreciating that? Or am I misremembering? Rolo, are you still up there? I'm sorry, Rolo isn't accepting visitors at the moment. Come back
Luka
never.
had only ever heard him speak in this stiff yet gentle tone a few times, and it always meant one thing.
You're upset. Oh, what makes you say that? Maybe because my best friend abandoned me for no reason? I didn't abandon you. I'm just a little
Rolo
late.
scoffed.
Rain held me up. Liar. You weren't even home. What? The storm got bad and I got worried. So I went looking for you. Imagine my surprise when I made it to your house and you weren't there. I hadn't made it back yet. I'm not a fool, Luka. It doesn't take all day to deliver some jam. I mean, it was literally our task to do that all day. That's like specifically and quite literally what happened. No, the storm rolled in out of nowhere. I got stuck after dinner at Beck's.
Luka stumbled on his words, knowing he'd said too much.
Beck? Dinner? What the heck's a Beck? She's a new kid in town. She's actually kind of cool. You'd like her. She needed help convincing her parents that she'd made new friends. New friends? I spent all day waiting for you, and you were off making new friends? It's not like that, Rolo. You know, while I was waiting, I made some upgrades to mission control. It was gonna be a surprise, but you took so long the storm knocked it all down. Okay, now, just... I don't want to make this bad situation worse, but like if that's true, they weren't good upgrades, right? Like they weren't great. Like that wasn't just like you knocked down our friendship. What's that even mean?
Luka became instinctively angry in response. Both boys were now shouting across the distance.
Slap, bite, slap, bite, slap, bite. Look, we even have a slap badge. It means you're a bad friend. You don't care about me. Of course I care, you idiot. I knew I'd get in trouble waiting so late for you, but I kept my word, because that's what friends do. Oh wow, what a noble sacrifice you made. Fire Baron wants to initiate fire. Hey, maybe that'll be the next surprise. And like, there's a branch of the story where we burn the whole treehouse down, and somehow that stops perennial harvest from turning us into zombies or whatever's going on. Anything for you to say. Your grand doesn't even care. You can stay out as long as you want. And you wouldn't even get in trouble. Seriously? You're acting like I chose this? If that's what you think, maybe you're the
Rolo's
bad
tone
friend.
changed to a calm, yet more intense anger.
Maybe Pa's right. Storms bring more than water. This one brought the real Luka out. Stop quoting your Pa's nonsense like it means anything. Well, at least my Pa is still around. Yeah, I'll use fire on Rolo. That's fine. We can do that.
The words hung in the cold night air. Rolo's stomach dropped, knowing he'd crossed a line. But it was too late.
I'd kind of like it if canonically it's just like we didn't even like argue or fist fight or anything. Just like Luka calmly like lights a match and just like sets Rolo on fire. Just like, I see what you did there. Luka, good night, Rolo. Dang it. This went good. All according to plan. Nani? The box? Guess the box.
Luka dug through his old stuff, not even sure what he was looking for.
What's with this soccer ball? Soccer ball's already showed up in a different branch. Rolo, what a jerk! Call me a bad friend? Ooh, I'm Rolo. Look at me and my amazing family. It felt like that was building towards something, and then it abruptly stopped, but I could still kick the ball around, and I'm confused about what, if any, implications that has. Like, it felt like this was relevant, because it was like, oh, he, like, dug into the box, and you kind of have to do it, and then he starts, like, talking, and then, like, it doesn't matter. I don't understand, though. Is there a way that I can, like, knock down, like, that shelf or something? That feels like no. Yeah, I feel like that would have worked if that was going to work. I don't understand why we had this interlude, and I spent more time on it because I thought it meant something. Well, it's fun, but I think we should get a giant melon for his room. Hey, listen, there's nobody that wants giant melon more than me, and that's the end of the sentence. I guess I'm just never supposed to make new friends. Oh my god, I got the weep badge. Hey, is that what the Pokemon franchise is missing? Is like an installment where all of the badges are like emotions and like the whole thing's like a metaphor? Because like the whole Pokemon journey is like obviously like a coming of age story anyway, right? So like it could just be like Inside Out where like you have to confront all of your emotions and then like your rival turns out to be like you wearing a mask the whole time and you have to gain the power of self-respect or something. Weep Cop. God, I hope Weep Cop is the answer. Also, I love that we've reached this stage of the game where because it's not clear where any of these go, the first thing chat does when we get them is like, Weep Cop? Is it Weep Cop?
Gran cooed gently from the hallway.
Luka, you slept straight through breakfast. Luka, are you alright? I'm fine. I just don't feel like getting up yet. Okay, I'll leave this oatmeal by the door. And for the love of God, stop leaving the tap on and the fridge open. I gotta run out and take care of some things. Okay, I'll be back later to check in. Try not to die. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Luka just wanted to be alone. He waited to hear the sound of the front door closing.
See, they did just want to make porridge. No, but our Gran isn't Sharper Valentine. Don't step on these wild oats. Please be careful handling the wild oats. They're not pleasant. Everyone took it very personally that I like knew what that meant, even though like like you can kind of figure out what it means in the context of that expression. But like the fact that like no one knew what it meant, and then I was like, no, like don't just like carelessly throw that around. It's like a weird phrase. It's not great. Where do I think she got the wild oats from? I'd rather not speculate, Neko, frankly. You knew what it meant because you have farm family. Oh no, I like it's clear that you get it, Sarah. I have no doubt of that. I bet Rolo's still gonna go to the festival. Humph. He's gonna be miserable. If there were more than one of him, he would be les miserables. Am I just supposed to go to bed again? Am I in a literal depression go-to loop? God, am I? Can I leave this room? If Rolo still thinks I'm going to the festival with him, he can shove it! Oh my god. Alright, I guess it's bedtime at 10 a.m. Always a great sign, let me tell you. Really nothing else? It's just... we sleep until it's chapter 8 or something?
Luka dozed off again.
Luka, I see you didn't eat your oatmeal. I wasn't hungry. Well, just in case you get hungry, I'll leave a sandwich here too. Thanks. Rolo came by. What did he say? He wanted to talk to you. What did you say? I told him you weren't feeling well. Good. So, your plan is to just sit in your room all day? And by your room, I mean our room? Because our living situation's like a little awkward. Pretty much. Well, I need to pop away again for a minute and not do anything suspicious at all. You decide to end your pity party and go outside, I think it'd do you some good.
Luka
Noted.
still couldn't bring himself to go out. Besides, if he ran into Rolo, he'd have to actually confront the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally better to die than confront, like, a socially awkward situation. I get it. Yeah, right, Sarah. I left you some poison incendiary raspberry jam. It's actually 3 different jars of jam. It's best not to mix them up, so maybe just don't eat any of the jam at all. Never anything interesting to do at the festival anyway. See, this is what I wanted to do. Yeah, Razzmatazz.
The Adventures of Hank Atomic.
Complete
Luka
first
carefully
volume.
opened the cover and began to read. Rollo had received it for his birthday, a special hardcover edition with behind-the-scenes commentary and bonus art.
In the scenes commentary in a book? I guess that's like footnotes in Shakespeare or something? Hard to quite picture that, even though I know what they're getting
Rollo
at.
cherished it, but asked that Luka keep it at his house. Luka wasn't sure if it was because Rollo didn't trust himself with it, didn't trust his sister around it, or just wanted an excuse to come hang out at Luka's more often. Whatever the reason, Luka didn't mind. But it had stayed right there where Rollo had stashed it ever since. Now, at the foot of his bed, Luka lost himself in the pages. He'd read it all before, but at this moment, it somehow felt sentimental. He was well into issue number 5 when he heard soft footsteps from the hallway.
Is it that squirrel coming to murder us? Luka, another little friend came to see you. I'm not the concierge of this house, you know. Deal with your own crap, you little turd. Named Beck Modwill. She said you met yesterday? What did she say? Is she here? She was just dropping by. I told her you aren't taking visitors today. But I swear to God, if I have to deal with one more child, I'm going to tan your hide. Oh, she seems nice. Do you think she's single? Man, that's super weird. You had a fight with Rollo, didn't you? Can I come in? I mean, it's literally also your room. Maybe later. Alright then. I'll leave dinner on the kitchen table. It's just like a whole feast going on down here, basically. You know what? We might as well just leave the icebox open at this rate. All the food's out anyway. In case you want a bite before bedtime.
Without realizing it, Luka had pouted away the entire afternoon.
I mean, I get the point of this. This seems like a little dramatic. But, like, clearly this is just a branch of the story where we, like, miss the festival because there's some branch where we go to the festival and it's, like, it's super intense or something.
He once again felt the weight of it all and allowed his weary eyes to close. Luka stood in a
Like,
vast
immediately?
black expanse.
Like, literally, his grandmother pointed out he had wasted the whole day and he's like, oh no, I'm going to fall asleep again. I've developed narcolepsy. Also, we're definitely going to have another, like, no visual dream sequence,
He
huh?
looked up at his father standing beside him. Walt was working a straw at the bottom of a fountain glass, trying to collect the last bits of milkshake.
Is that what I thought he
Dad,
meant?
where are we? Taking a final loud gurgling sip, his father peered up from the glass. He jangled the straw playfully with a warm smile, then lifted the empty glass as if to point into the darkness. The source? Luka's eyes followed his father's gesture.
The source of all evil from
In
Charmed?
an instant, he was sitting in front of a blazing campfire. Across from him sat a large figure in a yellow hazmat suit. The figure's voice was a scratchy echo. Well, if it isn't the man of the hour, make yourself comfortable.
The source of wild oats. I'd care not to speculate about that.
Luka held his shivering hands over the flame to warm himself.
Ooh, incendiary.
It doesn't work that way here. Their yellow-gloved hand pointed to the base of the flame. It's a cold flame, see?
Oh, it's endothermic. Got it. It's for summer.
Luka peered at the base of the fire.
It is summer, after all.
It wasn't wood that was burning. It was Beacon Pines itself.
That's such, like, a weird, like, dream concept. Because, like, it's hard to even, like, picture that, but, like, in a dream you're like, oh no! The little campfire in front of me is the whole town somehow.
Tiny buildings, freezing and crumbling as they were consumed by flame. Luka could see small shadows moving in the burning city. People. Luka leapt to his feet. We've got to help them! The figure gave a dismissive wave of their hand. Why waste energy helping people who can't even help themselves? The figure bent down to examine the panicked crowd as they desperately tried to stop the flames. They only care about what's right in front of them.
I mean, in fairness, when the thing that's right in front of them is flames that are freezing them to death, that feels like a pretty reasonable thing to be focused on.
Not like us. Luka's voice was a trembling whisper. Us? The figure slowly stood up, grabbing its helmet with both hands.
And it was Luka, but they didn't have any
With
teeth!
a jolt and a twist, the suit emitted a gasp. A cloud of torpid mist escaped, slowly revealing the face within. Luka's own face looked back at him.
Yep.
Older, worn, distant. The sensation was oddly familiar, as if he'd caught his own reflection by surprise in the mirror. The doppelganger smiled. I tried to help once. He gestured towards his face. And all it got me was this.
Is it a lousy
Luka
t-shirt?
staggered back. You aren't me. Luka felt a hand catch his shoulder. His father was there again, beside him. Every choice sets us on a path. This is the end of one of your paths, son. Luka watched his older self shake its head ruefully, its face twisting into a cruel grin. Welp, Dad. If you wanted him to see this, far be it from me to disappoint. Luka watched in shock as the figure took a confident step forward and plunged into the flames.
But didn't Dream Luka just state that they didn't want to help? Why are they going into the flames? Also, it wouldn't be as easy to make like a background for this as it would the fishing dream, but still sort of feels like a little something here would be nice. Doesn't have to be like a full animation or something, like just like a little something.
In a flash of cold light, he was gone. What does all of this mean?
It means that your oatmeal is frozen solid. That's what it
Luka
means.
felt a reassuring squeeze on his shoulder. Just remember, why we choose matters just as much as what we choose.
Thanks, sorting hat.
Luka woke up to see a hazy figure at the foot of his bed, silhouetted in the morning sun.
Is it Darth Vader from Planet Vulcan? No, dear. It's only Gran.
Luka rubbed his eyes. The kind, concerned face of his Gran came into focus.
How are you feeling? Fine. Anything you want to talk about? I don't feel like talking. That's just as well, because I don't want to listen to your little kid crap. How about you sit down and listen a bit? Whatever you and Rolo fought about doesn't matter. I mean, I feel like I get the intention of this thing to say, but I don't think that's entirely a healthy attitude, frankly. It kind of strikes me like almost everything I see come out of like the subreddit Get Motivated is just like real toxic crap, and everyone's like, yeah, real toxic crap about how everyone should be perfect all the time. Like, nah, not here for it. Emotions matter, and like, you could say that it doesn't matter in the scheme of things and your friendship's more important, but like, it does matter. You know, if the friend turns out not to be remorseful about like definitely being like super rude and lame, like, that matters. Yeah, that's a pretty good point, Neko. Like, it's pretty wild to just say that, not having like any idea what the discussion was. It's like, we fought about the fact that I saw him kill 3 people. Well, that doesn't... Wait, what was that? I'm sorry, what?
Gran silenced Luka with a gentle pat on the leg.
Fights between friends happen. What was said doesn't matter. The talisman is important. The important thing is it's not the last thing you ever say to each other. But he said stuff about Dad. Well, then I'll kill him myself. I mean, do you think he meant it? No. He was just mad. Did you mean any of the things you said to him? I mean, I guess we said some stuff that was bad. It wasn't like close to that bad, though. No. Good. One must appreciate friends in their best moments and accept them in their worst. This is a story about acceptance. I like to imagine that we can use accept as a lure for fish, and that we'll just go to the side of the lake and hold our hands out, and a fish will appear, and it's like, great, I accept this fish from nature. Now get your little butt out of bed. The festival's today. You don't want to miss that, do you? Cry at the fish and then accept them. Are we in love with the fish? I don't know if I follow the narrative. Guess not. Seems like a good opportunity to make amends with Rolo,
Luka
doesn't
gave a
it?
reluctant nod.
So buy him a corn dog and apologize. That's a pretty good apology. That'll probably work. But he's the one that... What did I just say, you little turd? Buy him a corn dog. That's a good boy. Everything's better with corn dogs. Need to get going now. Got some last-minute festival business to take care of. Come find you at the fountain a little after lunch. Be sure not to eat any jam, though. All right. I love you, Luka. Love you too, I guess.
Luka took a deep breath.
Luka says, I've never had a corn dog. Are they good? I mean, quality varies a little bit, and like it kind of depends on whether you're willing to have a hot dog in the first place. But like, if you like hot dog and you like cornbread, it's pretty good. Okay. I feel like corn dog should be like a badge. I feel like we should get like a corn dog badge, and then we could be like good cop, corn dog cop. And I don't know what that is, but it sounds way better than whatever the actual option is likely to be.
Through thick and thin. Despite Luka's bitterness, Gran was right. He needed to hash things out with Rolo. A big fight changes the nature of a friendship. Whether, in the end, it is for the better or for the worse, all comes down to understanding. If one is not careful, the same familiarity that builds the strongest of bonds can become the wrecking ball that shatters them. Luka emerged from seclusion, taking in the crisp festival air.
You have corn dog, or you don't have cornbread in the UK? I'm sorry. That's sad. That's just sad.
But the events of the day weren't on his mind. He had to find Rolo.
I mean, had to feels like a strong word. I just want to check real quick. I'm going to see through this branch of the story and everything, but I just want to see if we have any, like, new relevant branches after getting a couple different things. No, not at all. See, like, this is the issue I have. Like, it's not so much that it, like, ruins my enjoyment of the game, but, like, this feels like this is, like, the big thing of the game is, like, this. And it's, like, I get the badges and I get excited about them, and I, like, can't do anything with them. It's disappointing. Can't use knife in Rolo if you can't find him. But this game hasn't provided knife. Nor has Zeus provided an opportunity to save. There you are. Luka. Rolo wanted me to tell you something. I hope she hits us really hard on the head next. No, I'm pretty sure you meant use knife in Rolo. That verbiage is correct.
Roxy rolled her eyes, shaking her head.
A space adventure, though you needn't buy it. If ye be brave, go somewhere quiet. Roxy, I don't want to listen to your poetry. It's a riddle, Luka. My goofy brother wants you to find him.
Luka looked down and kicked at the dirt.
Look, I know you two had a fight. The only thing more annoying than my little brother is my little brother without his best friend. So I'm doing him this one favor. And if you don't return the favor in kind, I will beat you slowly to death. So I need this favor from you. Whatever it is that went down between you two, squash it. Put it in a box, and then put that box in a box, and then hit it with a hammer? Is that what we're doing? I always want to go down on that screen, and it's never correct. Not once. I can't rummage through the garbage like a raccoon. Unique New York. Unique New York. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Huh? Oh, don't mind me. Just warming up for my big ceremony
Mr. pointed
speech.
to his grinning mouth.
Gross. Gotta limber up the old gab box. More gross. You nervous? Oh, heavens no. Well, break a leg. What was that? Give me the gift. What? How goes the beetle hunt? Pretty rotten. I haven't seen so much as an exuviae. And not just the beetles. This morning I couldn't find any critters at all. It's like everything that buzzes or skitters just packed up and left. I'm sure they're out there somewhere, along with the truth. Boodly doodly doodly doodly. Maybe all the commotion of the festival spooked them. Yeah, maybe that's it. I mean, they've been slowly disappearing over several days. I don't think that's it. Welcome to our festival. Don't forget to come back later for Mr. Kerr's speech. And the Perennial Harvest Festival sign reveal. You don't want to miss it. Ain't moving. Oh, look, it's our friends, these two. Every single time. Yep. Wait for it. Unexplained sound once again noted. Like clockwork. What a bunch of drones.
Jeff was staring into the distance with a wistful look.
Forget what Jeff sounded like. Hey Jeff, everything alright? Yeah, everything's fine. I mean, used to be fine. Just ain't right these days, you know? I really do,
Jeff
actually.
turned to Luka with a furrowed brow, then gave an understanding nod.
You do, don't you?
For a moment, the two now shared that same wistful gaze.
Hoppity, hoppity, hoppity. Watch Rolo. Use melon on Rolo. We should get a melon badge. That'd be good. Most welcoming of welcomes. Would you like to share your thoughts? You always strive to improve. Nope. Now, I think the achievement you get here is for kicking the melon, but he's clearly slapping the melon. We even got the slapping badge from the melon. Didn't I already get the melon badge when I got slapped? Yeah, what? Is there a question there, counselor? Wish I could slap the fish. Hey, actually, I feel like that area is off limits, but I might as well check. I want to see if I can accept fish. It sounds stupid. Slapping melons is a national pastime. It is important to all of us. My fishing dog. It can do nothing new.
Luka wrapped a twig of thyme. Some fish have refined taste.
I'm leaving now. Hippity hoppity. Like, Neko, do you mean to imply that, like, we wouldn't slap the melon? Like, I don't even understand why you would say something like that. I was able to return the perennial harvest safety suit you borrowed. I don't think anyone noticed. Good. Now, will you tell me what you needed it for? It was a favor for the enemy of my enemy. Oh, this isn't gonna harm Mr. Kerr, is it? All you need to know is that it's good for the family. It's so weird to me that those two are related. Nice and subtle that library is the... Actually, why can I even do this? Library, somewhere quiet. Alright. Except he's, like, not actually literally here. Hey,
Kato's
Luka!
eyes lit with excitement.
I've been expecting you. Bravo on deciphering the first riddle. Oh, I got an achievement for that, which is weird because it sounds like this is the first of many steps, and that's like a weird thing to get rewarded for. The first? Oh, you didn't think that was all, did you? Really does go all
Kato
out, doesn't he?
straightened up and cleared his throat as if preparing to sing.
Good grief, this is gonna end at the treehouse, right? And it's gonna be kind of a colossal waste of time. Ahem. On planet Farpole, you may take issue. When the 5th king dies, you'll need a tissue.
Kato stared at Luka eagerly.
Get it? Want me to tell you?
No, it's okay. I don't really care that much. Rollo can die.
Alright, when you find it, bring it here to be verified. And if you decide you want a hint, the offer still stands.
I don't know what the 5th king thing means. I also don't remember what any of these particular sections represent.
Luka grabbed 500 meals for one big pot from the shelf.
Alright, find the right book and give it to them.
Luka grabbed The Issue with Self-Help, a helpful guide, from the shelf.
What is the thing? If the 5th king dies, you'll need a tissue.
Luka grabbed The 5 Pillars of Success from the shelf.
It's obnoxious how all of these things were chosen to sound somewhat like
Luka
the thing.
grabbed The Modern Science of Atomic Radiation from the shelf.
It's not that one.
Luka grabbed Natural Photography, Volume 5 from the shelf.
It's not Sheldrake Volume 5.
Luka grabbed The Adventures of Hank Atomic, Issue number 4 from the shelf.
No, that's not it.
Luka grabbed The Adventures of Hank Atomic, Issue number 5 from the shelf.
I mean, it's... Is it this? I think it's the atomic radiation. I think it's just supposed to be Hank Atomic, because it's like references another planet, and it sounds like a weird narrative thing instead of being like a history thing. But like, it's kind of a weird puzzle because it requires you to like intuit stuff that the game like doesn't tell you at all. It's not unreasonable, but like, I can also imagine a world where it just like doesn't give me credit for this or whatever.
Kato
you
removed
found
his
it.
book from the desk and replaced it with Luka's, turning on the lamp. As he slid the book under the purple light, 2 words glowed. The Adventures of Hank
Wild
Atomic,
Oats.
Issue 5. Luka clicked his tongue with recognition.
Rollo's cipher pen. He used to write secret messages everywhere with that, and I promise it's not a plot device. Only I had the special flashlight needed to reveal it, although I both lost it and broke it. Yep, I lost it.
Well, apparently he traded Jeff for this purple light bulb. Parted with his entire Halloween candy stash.
Oh, Rollo. What's funny about that is Rollo could also be a type of Halloween candy. It's weird that he's gone from making fun of Luka for his dad dying to giving him riddles. I mean, it's a classic distraction play, right?
Kato began
Now,
flipping
let's
through
see
the
here.
pages, stopping when he hit a glowing word.
Get away with such a
He continued
grift.
flipping.
Only found in Grub Cart.
Reaching the end of the book, Kato looked up.
Gift in Grub Cart. That's it. Grift in Grub Cart. Grift in Griffin.
Okay.
Griffin's Grub Cart.
Does that mean something? Hey, does that mean anything? Like, at all?
He wants me to go to Griffin's snack stand.
So, this thing has enough names that we eventually will get there?
Ah, brilliant. Guess you're off then. Good luck on the rest of the scavenger hunt. Thanks, Kato.
I assume that's by the equally unlabeled grocery store, I think? Hey, here's a weird detail. Is that, for at least, like, the last in-game day, all of those, like, strings of the triangular flags that maybe has a special name I don't know, were coiled around town, and there was, like, one, like, right here? Why was it here? It wasn't close to a place that it would go. What a weird place to keep it. Are you Griffin? Oh, okay. By snack stand, you mean like... I don't... like 3D glasses cotton candy? Hey, Griffin.
Before
Did Rolo
Luka
come?
could finish his sentence, Griffin handed him a corn dog.
Oh, that's it? Bought and paid for. Enjoy. I thought there was supposed to be like a riddle or something. The riddle is why you would eat this mysterious free corn
Luka
dog.
shrugged, taking a sizable bite out of the corn dog.
I hope that there's like a file or something in there, like in old Prison Break movies when someone would put a file in a cake. Yuck! It's cold! Oh yeah, that's been sitting there for a while. Rolo wanted me to be sure to give you that one specifically. Gross. He doesn't sell corn dogs, he sells ice cream. Yep, that seems to be true. Which is like another reason to be wary of it. Also, because he sells ice cream and not corn dogs, like not super surprising that it would be cold and gross.
Luka tugged at his cheeks, feeling something rough between his teeth.
This is not a good riddle. I know I complain about puzzles in, like, adventure games a lot. Can we get a consensus as human beings that this is not a good way to riddle? Is to, like, make someone eat cold, bad food and then, like, put alien objects inside of their body? Like, that's not great. That's, like, a pretty bad way to do a puzzle.
He reached into his mouth and pulled out a slip of paper.
This is really
He shook off
horrible.
the bits of corn dog to read the slip.
Pick up when you need some pep. I know. I'll go to the drug dealer. Near the fountain, up a
Luka
step.
finished off the remainder of the corn dog.
This is getting to be a whole thing.
This made me feel a little bit better about that bad riddle. Just a little, though. So, I mean, like, up here, probably? Rolo, in general, is just a bad way to friend. I'm not a huge fan of Rolo. Beck is obviously a superior friend who we've known for, like, a day. I don't even know what this place sells. I think they implied it was a restaurant earlier, but, like, I don't know what this is referring to. I've given this character, like, 4 different voices, and I don't care because they show up infrequently enough and have few enough lines of dialogue that I don't care, but, like, also it's annoying that they keep showing up. There you are, Luka! No way I'm actually doing this. It's below my pay grade. They get the same voice, because they're basically the same character. Oh, come on, you big stiff. Let the kids have some fun. Fine. But Rolo owes me one.
He waved his hands around sarcastically as he began.
It's a guy named Lumen? Could have fooled me. Okay.
What takes flight but has no wings? Your final task of friendship brings.
See, that wasn't so hard. I don't think I like the hard badge.
I feel cheapened somehow. I think it's sweet.
This is a much less clear riddle than the previous ones, including the ones that I've had little to no context for. What takes flight but has no wings? I mean, fireworks, but I have a sneaking suspicion he's not affiliated with the town bullies for the sake of this. What takes flight? I mean, the bugs are all missing. Hard fish. I mean, we could try hard fish. Good luck, Luka. All right, you're gonna get another new voice if I ever see you again. Goodbye. Okay. Well, the riddle becomes a lot more obvious when he's standing there with balloons. That's true. Hey. Hey. Did you find the comic book? Yep. And you got the corn dog? Yeah, it was awful, man. Like, that was a really bad thing to do. Well then. I expect you to die. I mean, I know it doesn't make up for what I said. But here, you've earned
Rollo
this.
sheepishly handed Luka the balloons.
Da-na-na-na! It'd be fun if we flew away, like, up. I did get flight. I got the flight badge. I got the hard badge and the flight badge, which are both probably actually Pokemon badges from games I don't have them memorized from, but that sounds right. Thanks. You didn't have to go to all this trouble. I'm sorry I got so mad. Dang it, you were supposed to let me apologize first. Oh, sorry. Now you've apologized twice before me. This is a real failing on my part. Just let me do this. For a second, I thought Rollo was going to propose, and I was going to be very confused. Luka, I'm really sorry. With everything that's happened, and with your mom and all, I wanted to be there for you. Be a good friend, you know? But it turns out I have no capacity for that, because I'm actually a terrible friend. And then you said you were hanging out with someone else. I kind of freaked out. Rollo. Still my turn? I felt like if you needed some new friend to help you, it meant I wasn't good enough. And while that's probably true, I still didn't like being called out. But that was selfish and wrong. I was wrong. I'm so sorry, Luka. Okay, apology over. You can talk now.
Luka threw himself at Rollo, hugging him as tightly as he could.
Rollo, I deserve better than you. I don't deserve you either. That's why we deserve each other. So, what else do you want to do today? We could snoop around and try to find some info about your mom. Yeah, because if it was that easy, we wouldn't have done it already. Snoop where? We could probably sneak into Perennial Harvest HQ while everyone's at the festival. Aren't you curious about all those clipboards? What if we get caught? I think I've had enough excitement for 1 week. Let's just make the rest of the day about us. Really? Yeah, the rest of the world can wait one more day. You know, I have been wanting to get some work done on the MCDC at Mission Control. The aim is a bit unpredictable. That sounds perfect. Enter the treehouse with Rollo. Reason I have these balloons? God, look at the animation of me carrying the balloons around. I'm gonna vomit. What's that about? Why am I flailing my arms as hard as I possibly can? Blech. Exactly, now the balloons can slap the melon too. It's very important. Hold on. None new?
Luka gently good for skim.
None new? None fishing? I did it. Are you proud of me? Oh, I almost forgot. I ran into your gran this morning. She asked me to give you
Rollo
this.
handed Luka an unopened letter.
I'll wait for you inside if you want to read it now. A letter? I just got a letter. I wonder who it's from. Oh, no, wait, it's Gran. He told me that.
Luka, some things are going to happen that might be difficult for you to understand. If I am honest, I hardly understand them myself. But whatever happens, I need you to know that I love you. None of this is fair to you. You have already lost so much. We both have. I wish there was a simpler way forward. But if there is, I haven't thought of it.
By the way, I bet we need to. I bet we need to play good cop, flight cop. I think that's what we're going for.
God knows I've tried. Everything I've done, I did for you.
It's frequently very concerning when people say stuff like this. Now, it's pretty clear based on the context of everything else we've uncovered in the story thus far that our grandmother is like a terrorist who's gonna blow up herself in the town and perennial harvest or some sort of thing. She's working with the Valentines to overthrow perennial harvest, which means blowing up the festival somehow. Question marks
I
profit.
hope someday you can accept that. Love, Gran.
Love, Gran. I love you too,
Luka
Gran.
folded the paper into his pocket and headed up the ladder.
So wait, his dad is a file folder and his Gran is a letter? I guess that sort of tracks. It's all basically documents. Those balloons have so much lifting power that they presumably have lifted the roof directly off the building as they're floating outside of the scene. What's up with the letter? Anything you want to talk about? Maybe later. Sure, whenever you want. They're just chilling. They're straight Sunday chilling, even though I don't know what day of the week it is. You know, you really didn't have to go to all the trouble just to apologize. I know, but we've been looking forward to the festival for weeks. After I ruined everything with my big mouth, this was the best way to make sure you had a good time without me. Is give you like food poisoning and waste a bunch more of your time. Although it is true there's really nothing to do at the festival, other than accost the people working at the cult.
Luka was at a loss for words.
Want to go slap the melon
But
together?
that was fine. Words aren't always necessary.
The festival seemed nice. Was it nice? We can still go. Nah, this is fine. Well, there's always next
Sadly,
year.
this was untrue.
What was it? Did Gran detonate an antimatter bomb that destroyed the entire town
A
fully?
distant rumble shook the treehouse.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you think that when Rolo came to visit Gran, she convinced Rolo to do this super elaborate plot to keep Luka away from the town center? It's kind of a coincidence otherwise, but like we know that they at least had a brief exchange. What was that? Aw, man, we missed the fireworks?
It was not fireworks.
It was not fireworks. I can't emphasize enough how much that wasn't fireworks.
It was something the boys couldn't possibly comprehend. Something as old and cruel as time itself.
I feel like this would be a more hang on a second. Did I just happen to do this in this order, or was it possible? Yeah, I could have done it the other way. I feel like this branch would have been more interesting if I did this before the one where we find the secret basement. Oh, I can be hard cop. That's apparently the one. Okay. Oh, and I can... Oh, when we get cornered in the treehouse, now I can fly away. Those are some weird options that are now available to me. Oh.
A shockwave of cold tore through the room. A bitter, unfathomable chill.
Now, given what I'm looking at, it feels as though that's a gross understatement, and I have to ask myself, is this a success case for the plan? Is this what we wanted to have happen? It feels like no, but it seems as though this was intended somehow. Although, in hindsight, I do think it's safe to say that, like, there's no way they would have expected this. Or whatever thing the narrator said along those lines.
Before they could react, it encased them in ice. Two boys, reunited by friendship, only to be cruelly separated by a malevolence beyond reason.
Has anyone in chat heard of Ice 9? This kind of reminds me of this mummy. She was really special because she was really pretty.
And so, our story ends on this melancholy scene.
I like that the music is still cheerful,
In
though.
a silent treehouse turned statuary,
No, there's cheerful music.
in a town brought low by its secrets, sits a pair of friends, alone, together.
Alone together or yikes forever?
For the rest of time.
That actually sounds like a detour choice from The Amazing Race.
The end. No, that can't be the ending.
No, I
It
think that's
simply
true, Anne.
can't. I won't accept it, and I hope you won't either.
No, I'm gonna close the game. That's it. That was good. Rolo died of frostbite.
There are more endings, more possibilities. I can feel it. We are just going to have to sort through them all until we find the one that fits.
So do we good cop, hard cop, or do we fly away from the mutant treehouse trap? Maybe it's better to do hard cop because we're close to it. We don't have to like recap as much of what was happening. I don't think I've been playing this game at a quick pace, but I do feel like I was led to believe it was shorter than I think it will end up being. I thought we had a good chance of finishing tonight based on my understanding of things, but it really still seems like that's not true. Sure. We could do flight. So, I'm not sure I remember every detail of how we got here, but this juncture is, this is on the version of history where we go with Rolo to the fertilizer warehouse, and then he leaves the stinky corpse dumpster before us, and then like vanishes and seems to be trapped in some underground prison of some description, and everyone keeps telling us he's okay and he went home, even though like it turns out that he didn't. And because we went out looking for him, we got in a fight with the bully whose name I don't remember, and we like splashed some mutagen on their face and it got all like grotesque, and then the Perennial Harvest clipboard folks started like harassing him and chased him here to the treehouse through coincidence. And then like as it says here, Luka's mind raced. He was caught in a trap. What do you do when there's no hope? Iggy wiped his cheeks with a sleeve. What are you gonna do, Luka? Luka drew himself up and decided that the only option they had left... I see what they did here. Doesn't always have to be fight or fly, but we'll fly today.
Luka drew himself up and decided to take the only option they had left. Flight. He squinted down the barrel of the mission control defense cannon, aiming it through an opening in the dense tree branches. He looked up with surprise as it struck true and taut.
Wow, I literally can't believe that worked. I mean, Rolo made it, and just, he's not reliable. Hey, Mr. Kerr. We'd love to hear your thoughts, but I'm afraid we have places to be. Come on, Iggy. Yeah, see ya, jerks.
I'd love it if they jumped on the rope and it immediately snapped and it was just basically the same ending. Fine, we know where that leads them. This way, we'll take the tunnels.
Luka and Iggy winced as they sprinted through the thicket. The branches clawed at them, reluctant to give passage. After what felt like a marathon, Luka stopped in his tracks as they reached the clearing. What the? That was all he was able to say before Iggy slammed into his back. The boys tumbled down a steep decline and crashed with a wheezing thud on a surface as hard as ice.
Was it ice? Did it happen to also be ice?
In fact, it was ice.
Hey, it turns out it was ice.
Chapter 5. Signs.
I like that movie.
They stood silently, catching their breath. The sky was like sapphire. With each breath, a plume of steam escaped from Luka's lungs. Let's keep moving. Luka pulled Iggy to his feet as they gazed across a snowy terrain.
Wow, this lacks subtlety. It wasn't like a small patch of ice, it is the Ice Age. Now,
That was actually pretty awesome. Uh-huh. I think we lost them. Are we up in the mountains? No, that logistically wouldn't make any sense. If anything, we went downhill. And what's up with the Winter Wonderland? All I know is there's no going back the way we came. Let's see if we can get our bearings. Follow me. Seek a way out. Well, there's this. There's also like an archway there.
A disc of smooth metal was lightly covered in snow. 2 faint seams were visible along the surface.
A manhole cover? If it is, I've never seen one like it. No, we're done. I thought there might be more to that for some reason. Oh, that's not... Okay. What's the readout? Sitting just above 258 Kelvin. That's a bit down from last time. Should we report this to Mr. Kerr? Meh, still within safe ranges. Maybe spreading, but it's under control for now. Even a small nudge in the equilibrium could cause a cascade. Dude, relax. Just a few more sites to hit before we can punch out. Let's just get this over with. Huh. Hold on a second. Luka! Luka, are you
had
there?
almost forgotten the walkie-talkie he was carrying.
It's that bozo Kerr. Oh, it is? Why is it Kerr? The person who had the walkie-talkie before was Rollo. So I guess they went to the underground base and saw that Rollo had the radio or something? I hope nothing bad has happened to you out in those
Luka
woods.
looked at Iggy with hesitation.
No
With a
need to be
resigned
rude.
sigh, Luka responded.
It seems like the only dangerous thing in the woods is you. Also bears. Bears are probably pretty scary, even though we're like animals and whatever. He speaks, the young man of the hour. Oh, that's not good. One of our weird prophetic nightmares called us the man of the hour, and then the whole town turned to ice, which now we, apparently can just happen. Now, how in tarnation did you end up with one of our radios? Just lucky, I guess. Boy, howdy, you VanHorns are full of surprises, aren't you? You knew my parents? Well, I never had the honor of meeting your father, but your mom sure was a handful. No.
Luka winced, shoving the walkie-talkie back into his pocket.
We gotta keep moving. So... I think we're in... another Beacon Pines next to Beacon Pines that already froze over. I think. Because this looks just like the billboard that's by our house. And, like, our house would be here, and then there's, like, an archway that looks just like that, and it leads up to the graveyard. It's not, like, a perfect reproduction, and, like, maybe it's just reusing assets, but it looks very similar. And what's all this? Hard to say with all this snow. I think it's a town sign. I can almost make out the letters under there. What town could this even be? There couldn't be another town this deep into Weepwood. I'm looking at evidence to the contrary. Let's figure out what we're dealing with here. Step 1. Snow's gotta go. I'll see what I can do. I guess we gotta go somewhere else. In situations such as these, I find it best to chuck stuff first, and ask questions second. But I don't, like, have... Oh, hang on. Apparently there's one spot, if I stand next to it, I get snow.
The boys
Beacon
stared
Pines.
in disbelief at the sign that now clearly read, "Welcome to Beacon Pines."
Version 1.0, I presume. Well, this doesn't make any sense. We're in Beacon Pines? How's that possible? We ran away from town. How did we get back here? I guess we must have got turned around. Where did all this snow come from? Well, it's been colder than normal lately. It is still summer. There's a pretty big difference between sweater weather and this Arctic... this Arctic wasteland. The puddle we fought at before, it was cold too. Maybe all of it leads to one source. And you think it's related? What the heck's going on? We're gonna get you some answers. Let's keep moving.
It's convenient that Iggy was wearing a parka before this happened. Oh no, I can't go to here, can I?
The
Can I
fencing
go to here?
listened. Each chain link encapsulated with a translucent layer of ice.
Looks like the stuff they put up around Weepwood.
The stuff who put up?
I don't know.
It's all
Looking down
frozen.
at the frozen stream, Luka could faintly see a school of minnows encased in the ice.
Whatever happened in here, it happened fast. Fish didn't even have time to run. Or, you know, swim run.
I hope the melon's okay. This stuff look familiar to you?
It looks like the barrel near the puddle
Shoved me into, yeah.
You think we should drink it?
Yeah, I think we should drink it, but you go first.
The crunching of footsteps trailing Luka went hush. He looked back to see Iggy's face twisted with confusion.
He put it on to hide his face. Well, sure, but my point being, like, he didn't put it on because he knew he was going into the snow, so it's lucky that he put it on because now he's in the snow, and it's good that he has it. It's a little convenient, but it works out. Everyone's gone.
What?
There's nothing here but more snow.
There must be an explanation for all of this. We have to keep looking.
You can look all you want. I quit.
Maybe we have to keep going. Also, like, what does that mean in this context?
You don't get it, do you? This isn't one of your pathetic Hank Atomic stories. We aren't gonna save the day. We aren't even gonna save ourselves. My face is mangled. The town is destroyed. And everyone we've ever known is gone. Yeah, you gave up pretty quick on this one, huh?
We don't know that. You can't just quit. It's not even the most likely explanation.
Do whatever you want. I'm done. I'm gonna sit here and die in the snow.
Iggy, it's gonna be okay, except for your face. I mean, it wasn't great to start with, but it's definitely worse now, and it's not getting better.
Luka peered upward at the darkening sky. He let out a long, foggy breath. Faintly, Iggy began to cry. Seeing Iggy in such a pathetic state gave Luka a sense of compassion, and more than a little guilt.
It's getting pretty late, I think. It's kind of hard to tell. Probably not a great idea to stumble around in the dark anyway.
Luka allowed himself to collapse next to Iggy.
Maybe, like, go inside, though, for at least a little protection from exposure? I don't know.
Let's
The
rest
boys
for a
huddled
bit.
together for warmth and comfort.
Is the end of this story branch that they freeze for death outside? Freeze to death? Freeze
If
for
not
death?
for exhaustion, their minds would be racing, trying to make sense of the events of the day. As it was, all they had energy for was to sit in silence, numb.
It's like the end of The Shining out here. The way the snow covered everything over. It's kind of calming.
Yeah.
Haven't had time to say it, but thanks.
Huh?
For getting us away from those creeps. I sort of froze up back there.
Iggy, I should be the one apologizing. All this happened because I lost my temper.
Nah, that's bull hockey. First of all, you didn't know what that gunk would do. You didn't, right?
Of course not.
And second, stop with this baloney about losing your temper.
But I did lose my
Iggy
temper.
motioned sarcastically to his half-deformed face.
Obviously. But that's exactly what you should have done.
Huh?
I was being a buffoon. You were supposed to be a buffoon in response. That's how it works.
Iggy, I'm having a really hard time following. You wanted me to fight you?
Of course. Geez, you goody-goody types take forever to understand this very basic point.
Why would you go around saying cruel things trying to get into
Iggy
fights?
shrugged.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty messed up, actually. I've got a lot of unresolved issues, and I don't have a therapist. So you're saying you're a jerk all the time because you're bored? Yeah, sometimes I just feel empty. You wouldn't understand. You and Rolo are always having a blast together. Laughing and calling that dinky treehouse mission
He
control.
now wept openly.
Perfect little Luka VanHorn. His perfect little life. My life is not perfect. Dude, my dad died, and then my mom disappeared, and then my grandma's like a jam terrorist? Everybody in town likes you. Not everybody, and also, it's really easy to get along with people if you're not just constantly treating everyone like garbage. Heck, the new girl hasn't even unpacked yet, and she already likes you. You have
He wiped
Tish.
his nose with a sleeve.
Look, I love Tish. Tish is great, don't get me wrong. But she ain't exactly the world's greatest conversationalist, you know? I don't know. I think Tish is quite the charmer.
Luka gave a warm chuckle.
I get
Iggy
that
cleared his
impression.
throat as he wiped his eyes.
It must be raining out here.
Iggy
Definitely.
arched into a wide yawn.
I guess it's time to hit the old dusty trail. We should probably try to get some sleep and die in the cold. Yeah, that sounds delightful. Let's lay low for now. Tomorrow we'll get to the
Luka's
bottom of all
eyelids
this.
began to slowly drift shut.
Luka? Yeah? I always did want to see the inside of your dinky little treehouse. What do you think? Not bad. We'll give you the full tour when we get back. Rolo will definitely be chill about it. He has a history of being, like, totally chill with new people. He's super good about it. You know what?
That's all Luka could whisper before succumbing to sleep.
So we never found out what, eh?
Iggy snuggled in some more.
When it comes to the worst days of my entire life, this one wasn't half bad.
The house smelled of warm bread.
Uh-oh, it's nightmare time.
Luka was playing with toy blocks on the living room rug.
Which it says, this is the better of the two anthropomorphic animals solve a mystery games I've played on the channel.
Is it exactly 2? I feel like it might be more than that. Are you referring to Black Sad? This game is definitely better than Black Sad.
I feel like there's another one, but my brain is like way too low CPU usage to figure out what it would be.
He looked up to see his parents on the couch. His mother held his father's head in her lap. She idly stroked his hair while humming a song.
I hope it's a really creepy song that, like, children would sing in rounds in a horror
A
movie.
voice behind Luka spoke. This is how you remember them, huh? Luka turned to see his own face. The doppelganger from his dreams, still clad in a yellow hazmat suit, still carrying a look of disdain behind empty eyes.
I'm too lazy to work through it, but the use of that description suggests that it's mandatory for this to come after the other one where future Luka is introduced, and that's probably true, but it's a little interesting.
Aww, look at this perfectly cozy scene. You know it wasn't really like this.
Were they both trying to solve the puzzle by using knife on each
The
other?
figure picked up a toy block and inspected it. It's amazing the facades that one can build given the right materials. Not that I blame us. These are a child's memories, all warm and fuzzy. You don't remember, do you? Lucas snatched the block from the figure's yellow-gloved hand. Remember what? The doppelganger pointed to the couch.
This all feels a little bit like Dark. The TV show Dark.
The last day we saw him alive. The day he chose to abandon us. Luka turned to look at his father, still lounging on the couch. That's not true. He didn't abandon us. The doppelganger waved his hand dismissively. Everything is true here. It's just a matter of what we choose to see.
It's a pretty wild statement. Everything is true here.
Let me show you. The world flickered and pulsed. Luka was sitting next to his bed, listening to his heartbeat with one of his dad's stethoscopes. The doppelganger limped into the room. Now, we both know that's not how this went. He grabbed Luka's hand and guided the stethoscope to the floor.
The reason he's limping, it's a very specific word choice.
Luka heard muffled shouting, brought close by the stethoscope. It was his parents, fighting. Do you remember what we did next?
Did we solve a nonogram and create a Rorschach test of our parents fighting?
Luka gave a slow nod and crept down the hall to peek through the banister. He could see the outline of his mother at the bottom of the stairs. Damn it, Walt. We can't afford to get involved in this. She was scared. His father stepped forward.
What am I supposed to do? Just watch? There's a sickness in this town, and we both know who's behind it. I swore an oath to help people.
They were Ditto's parents all along. I mean, only Ditto can confirm. I'm just saying the game is strongly hinting it.
I won't turn my back on them.
Luka's mother grabbed Walt. She was crying, pleading. I can't lose you.
And we all know how that
Walt
turned out.
calmly removed Eleanor's hand from his shoulder.
What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong.
Everything is true here. Nobody dies and nobody leaves. Which is why I'm bringing back Tony.
I could never live with myself if I let Sharper get away with this.
Eleanor raised her voice.
Spare me your bullshit platitudes. What about our son?
Clearly none of us actually cares about what happens to the son. I know that sounds cold, but, like, it's true to some extent. I realize that, I mean, what most likely happened here is, you know, the dad clearly is angling for justice and is doing something really risky that definitely got him killed. And it seems likely that after that happened, the mom, like, tried to investigate and get justice for the dad, and then got disappeared and or dead. But, like, yeah, it doesn't particularly seem like they had a contingency plan in place if that went belly up, and it did twice. So it's just us now with Rollo and Gran, who's like a terrorist.
Luka flinched, dropping the stethoscope down the stairs. Walt turned with a panicked smile. Luka, is that you, buddy?
Nah, it's the police. Don't worry
With
about it.
tears in his eyes, Luka descended the stairs. Mom? Dad? What's going on? Walt dropped to a knee to meet Luka eye to eye. Nothing, buckaroo. Your mom and I just got a little overexcited is all. Luka placed the stethoscope against his father's chest. His heart was racing. It sounded like you were going somewhere? Walt gently removed the device from Luka's ears. Listen to me, Luka. I have some business to take care of.
I really am curious about this. I'm not sure I get why not to do these scenes as, like, actual scenes. I mean, the game has even already established, like, a flashback scene early on with, like, the fishing hole. Like, it's not, like, the worst thing you could do is to just, like, not do any visuals for these scenes, but, like, it feels like kind of a strong choice, and I'm not sure why. Like, it could simply be, like, budgetary concerns, which, like, would be a little disappointing if true, but, like, I can't think of another reason.
I'll be back in time to tuck you in.
Narrator, he
Luka
wasn't.
hugged his father tightly. Promise?
Everything's true here, except the last thing Dad
Walt
said.
stood up and walked to the door. He glanced over his shoulder. I promise. With a wink and a grin, he put on his hat and strode out into the evening sun. A figure approached soundlessly from the foggy snowfall.
Is that Joey?
It stood above them, lingering in contemplation. Slowly raising one hand above Iggy, it snapped out 2 brisk raps on his head. From a deep slumber, Iggy sprang up defensively.
Is that a new character? Have we seen a sarcastic-looking rabbit before? Or is that a mouse? It might be a mouse. That's a really long tail, huh?
Whether
Get your
it was
hands
the
off
calming
me.
presence or the recognition that he was not in danger, Iggy felt his clenched fists lower.
Just what do you think
Luka
you're
looked
doing?
up, gradually remembering his whereabouts. The figure exhaled a cloud of warm vapor.
Gross. You two certainly have caused a lot of commotion. What's that supposed to mean? Take it easy, Iggy. We were asleep minding our own business. You're the one running around knocking on people's heads. I'm sorry if I hurt you, Iggy.
You didn't hurt nobody. Anybody. Huh? Oh, I see. You think you're better than me,
When
you...
it came to complete strangers, Iggy had trouble cobbling together an insult.
You big-headed, scarfy-necked... Furball? Okay, let's lower the temperature a bit here and roll around in the snow. That'll help. Interesting choice of words. I mean, let's all just calm down. Who are you? A friend? An observer? A hitchhiker on the infinite expanse of possibility? Great, but like, do you have a name? If you must call me something, you can call me Nat.
Iggy huffed with gratification.
Now, but you make like a gnat and buzz off. Very
Nat
well.
began to turn away indifferently.
Wait, do you live here? You might say that. So, you know where we are? You might also say that. Look, pal, I just want to find a safe way out of here. You gotta help us or not? Before knowing how to leave, one must know where they are. Alright, that does it. Luka, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna get out of here one way or
Iggy
another.
turned sharply and began to stomp off.
Crunch, crunch, crunch. Enough with the riddles. Iggy, wait up.
Realizing he'd worn their patience then, Nat relented.
Very well. I suppose this isn't the time for metaphors. I mean, like, did that seem like that was going to be helpful? They're like, hey, we're, like, lost and desperate. If you're going to help us, can you tell us where we are? And he's like, does a tree falling in the woods make a sound if no one's around to hear it? And it's like, come on, guy, come on. Come on, guy. I'll show you how to get back home.
Luka and Iggy turned around with hope in their eyes.
Come here.
Nat took a deep breath in.
Close your eyes.
Nat exhaled slowly, then snapped his fingers.
Okay,
For a
open them.
brief moment, Luka and Iggy let themselves believe that some great magic was about to unfold, until they opened their eyes and found themselves in the exact same place, cold and disheartened.
Got you so good, this is your home. This is Beacon Pines. Look, Nat, we don't know how we got here. Maybe we stumbled through some time travel gate in Weepwood, or teleported to an alternate universe, or this is all some cruel experiment by Kerr and his goons. But this is not our home. You're inching closer to the truth. Alright, hey, Natata? Hey, Natata. Your attitude stinks. Real bad. If you know what's going on, none of this is helpful. If you want to be obtuse, if you want nobody to like you, like my pal Iggy here, if that's what you're striving for, A+ job. But, like, if you would love to have, like, a conversation like an adult, and I know we're children, but bear with me here, if you want to have a conversation like an adult, like someone who's, like, responsible and not a sociopath, then, like, we can be friends or something. But otherwise, I'm gonna, like, throw you off a cliff, pal. You're not cool people. Alas, the reality is much less fanciful. Just give it to us straight. So be it. Only 10 more riddles before I will finally tell you what the heck's going on. As I said, this is Beacon Pines. The original true Beacon Pines. Yeah, no, like, I gathered that. They, like, did the experiment. So, like, is it the case that the Foul Harvest, like, frosted the whole village and they just decided to start over and pretend it didn't happen, which is, like, lunatic behavior to begin with? But it's, like, something along those lines. I don't know, like, it seems like the people would need to be aware of that, but maybe... No, wait a minute! No, wait! Maybe the people aren't aware of it, because, like, canonically, when the new company came here, they sent everyone away to hotels for, like, a month or something, right? Like, they actually mentioned that.
So, like, it's maybe somehow it's the case that, like, Perennial Harvest came here and, like, did something and, like, ice aged this town and then, like, built a replica of the whole town for reasons and then brought everyone to the replica and they were like, yeah, this seems right. Huh? Like, this is pretty much where you live, right? And, like, maybe that explains why, like, the crops continue to fail is because, like, whatever the cause for the original issue was, like, now they're just, like, in a place where the soil wasn't meant for farming or something. Or maybe it's related to the experiments that ice aged this town, I don't know. I'm not sure I want to give credit for the Find a Way Home mission, but sure. You both grew up here. But the town you've called your home for the past several years is a replica. A remarkable achievement of engineering, to be fair, but a replica nonetheless. That's impossible. It's too much work. People are inherently lazy. You'd need, like, a whole town to replicate a whole town. Indeed, to pull off such a feat would require immense labor power. That which could be moved would be moved. That which could not would require a precise duplicate. And we would have noticed. Someone would have noticed. You'd think so, unless the auditing was impeccable. A mind-numbing attention to detail. As for the innumerable trivialities which complete the tapestry, well, you can leave that to the miraculous thing we call a brain. Has a real aversion to discontinuity, a revulsion even. See, I'm inclined to agree with that, but so, like, here's the thing. In theory, it feels like, relatively speaking, simple enough to replicate the town itself, but like the surrounding environments to like get that nature to match existing nature, that seems more difficult. And I know that the implication of this statement is that, like, your brain will sort of correct, like, yeah, I think that tree looks right, sure. But, like, I feel like there's a limit to that, and it would be difficult to, like, replicate faithfully enough the whole perimeter of the town. That seems a bit wild. And granted, I'm willing to go along with this pretty far. Like, I'm not at all like, once we saw the Snowland with, like, the Beacon Pine sign, like, I figured replica. Because it genuinely didn't make sense for the town to have hit Ice Age under the circumstances, but, like, it kind of reminds me of the movie Us, where it's like, no, like, listen, hey, Jordan Peele, like, I'm super willing to go with you if you'll give me something to go on. And then it just, like, kind of didn't. Why are they still not in a building? That's such a good question. The brain has a wonderful way of smoothing out the rough edges, keeping us sane.
Luka and Iggy looked around uncomfortably.
Who is Nat? Nat really does suck. I mean, it's a cute cute mouse Nat person, Nat. But, like, also, like, real bad person. Real bad cute person. So you're saying someone made an entire new town and moved us all and no one noticed? Precisely. But why? Why is the one question that can never be answered with certainty? Definitely don't agree with that statement. Unless you're very precisely talking about why they moved the town, and even then, it supposes that there's no way to learn why that happened, and that feels wrong. The best one can do is to
narrowed
uncover.
His eyes, furrowed his brow, and uttered,
The source of all evil from Charmed? Why'd you say the source like that? Why, indeed. Why is the only question you can't answer.
Luka
No,
began
okay,
to
I
laugh
get it.
uncomfortably.
It's all ridiculous. There's
He
no way
looked
they
down
could.
at his feet. His eyes started back and forth in contemplation. With a sudden pain, a thought struck him.
Thinking really hurts. If this really is home.
He sprinted off into the pale distance. As Iggy turned to follow, Nat called out,
Iggy, it's not too late to turn back.
Simply head west through Weepwood. What the heck is Nat's whole thing?
Chapter
Not a
6.
huge fan.
The source. Nat expressed his sympathy with a shrug and sauntered off as unassumingly as he'd arrived. He'd given Luka and Iggy what they needed, and nothing more. As Luka sprinted across the snow, the events of the past few days became clearer, pieces to a larger puzzle. Rollo said he was underground somewhere, captured. Mr. Kerr tried to cover it up with lies. The clipboards were hell-bent on capturing Iggy. It all seemed to point to perennial harvest. But right now, there was one thing that Luka needed to know. Luka stopped dead in his tracks. The tree was gone, uprooted and moved, leaving a raw gash in the earth. He dropped to his knees and dug wildly at the cold snow.
Does he think he's gonna find the
His
entire
warm
tree
hands
below?
hit something hard. A headstone. A dry whisper escaped Luka's lips.
You're here. All this time, I thought I was visiting you. But you've been here. Alone. In the snow. Dad, I'm so sorry. They ruined your favorite spot in the world. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like, you move the tree, sure. But, like, it's like a memorable spot. I mean, I know Luka's young, but, like, it's stuff like this that's like, I feel like people would notice these types of things. I know the game wants us to think that, like, oh, you move the tree and then you just think it's the same place, but, like, I feel like some people would notice some things and it would add up. Our favorite spot in the world. Dad, what do I do?
There was no reply, just snow-covered silence.
Is it time to play good cop, incendiary cop? Why'd you give me the slip like that? What if I couldn't find you, you
Iggy
jerk?
finally noticed the tears welling in Luka's eyes and the snow-covered grave.
Huh? Iggy, they stole his tree, Iggy! Yikes forever.
Suddenly, they heard the crunch of approaching footsteps in the snow.
We gotta hide in this open field with almost nothing to hide behind even a little bit. 259 degrees Kelvin. Fall-off distance still good. Dude, did you hear me? I said 259. Sorry. You ever think about what we did here? Saved a whole town of people. Doesn't feel like it sometimes. What about everything we left behind? It's the grave of someone with a family. The people who love them will never know the truth. The truth is overrated.
He bent down to scoop up a snowball and lobbed it playfully.
Ah, dude, this stuff's super radioactive. Don't be such a downer, dude. You took this job to change the world. Yeah, come on. It's almost lunchtime. Why is he walking like... Why is he, like, dancing out of the frame? It's real convenient that they had that specific conversation at that time with no prompting. That was pretty weird. And here I thought I was a jerk. These dinguses are out here literally dancing on
Luka
graves.
stuttered through heaving sobs.
I thought I was visiting him. I thought he was with me. Not gonna lie, that's a bad break.
Iggy
Here's
gave
some
Luka a
advice.
solid smack on the back of his head.
You feel better? Life's tough, get a helmet. Hey. Who's any of this helping? What? Sitting here in the snow, crying like some pushover. Who you helping? Iggy, look what they did. They lied to everyone. Blah, blah, blah. Luka VanHorn, you're a lot of things, but you ain't no pushover. What did I tell you before? When some jerk comes at you acting like a buffoon, I should stand up for myself. Heck yeah. Kerr and his merry little band of clipboards pulled off the switcheroo for a reason, right? Nat mentioned something about a sauce. Sorry, I meant
Luka
source.
wiped his eyes with a sleeve.
Whatever's at the source must be awfully valuable to perennial harvest. It would be a shame if something unfortunate were to happen to their precious sauce, wouldn't it? What do you have in mind? If it's small enough to steal, we snatch it. If it's too big to snatch, we smash it. And what if it's too big to
Iggy
smash?
flashed a mischievous smile and cracked his knuckles.
I'm always up for a challenge. I'm gonna make this right, Dad. I promise. Even though in our family that doesn't mean much. Sick dad burn. Let's do this! Locate the sauce. Actually, can I... So he keeps trying to walkie-talkie me if I stay on this screen? That's weird. It can get awful cold out there in those woods, Luka. Probably best you stay put and conserve your energy. Helps on the way. Where's Rollo? Where's my mom? Did you kill her? Oh, heavens no. Do I seem like a killer to you?
Iggy and Luka shared a skeptical look.
Well, okay, that's fair. Does hurt my feelings a bit, though. Screw that guy. Feels like there should be something to interact with here, but there's not. Although, can I trigger, like, conversations here enough times to get, like, an achievement or something? One more try, but I think we're good. It did seem to move this whole house, and that's, like, kind of a lot. I don't really know what the next step is, really. Hey, wait a minute. If this is the original town, then that means...
Iggy darted behind a large pine and began digging furiously. He emerged holding a shoebox with a crude skull painted on its lid.
What's that? Long story. So a few years back, I, came into possession of some premium-grade fireworks. Not the wimpy firecracker stuff they give kids. The good stuff. So why did you bury it under a tree? Well, that's the long part of the story. You and Rollo were doing chores at Rollo's chicken coop. And you guys pissed me off for some
Luka
reason.
rolled his eyes with realization.
No, you
Iggy
didn't.
stifled a chuckle.
Flaming chicken coop situation. Yep. I just wanted to give you guys a little scare. But like I said, these are some primo fireworks, and I'm a little arsonist. I'd, underestimated things. You blew up the chicken coop? I prefer to think of it as an, incendiary redecoration. Is it possible to get badges from multiple places? I wonder if you could get incendiary here somehow. It's just like a really specific thing to say. Sorry, but you should have seen the looks on your faces. Lulu got grounded for months, which is why I needed to stash the evidence and lay low. So I buried him under that tree. When I came back for him later, they were gone. I figured some grown-up found him and tossed
triumphantly
him.
raised the shoebox.
Turns out it wasn't the fireworks that got moved. It was us. Unbelievable. Also, they're probably, like, super cold and soggy. Do you think this is a game? Yeah, I bought it on Steam, bro. It's a game. Newsflash, boyo. Now he really is Pegasus, huh? You're not a hero. You're a little brat who's in way over his head. A hero is just someone who refuses to give up. Comics these days are rotting children's brains. Everyone thinks they're a spaceman superhero. I was always partial to Hank Atomic myself. Is that so? Do you really think you have a chance against us? Perhaps a ghost of a chance? You have no idea how powerful we are. Prepare for blast-off, loser! Well, it's like not a great catchphrase. Still carrying the walkie-talkie around. I mean, in theory, there's some slim possibility that... Oh, okay. There's some slim possibility that Rollo gets access to a walkie-talkie again and might need to send us a message. But, like, yeah, like, I mean, it doesn't seem helpful.
At the very least, like you say, Neko, I don't know why you'd keep responding. So because it's so cold, like, I can't... There's no melon, huh? That's really sad. Crooked. Just like this whole stinking place. Ah, see? I knew there'd be something around here useful. Now I got Crooked, which is probably a way to catch fish, and maybe not any... No, wait a minute! Can I play Crooked Cop? I think I could play Crooked Cop.
Luka and Iggy inched up to the edge of the hole with bewilderment in their eyes.
It's the source of all pudding.
Arctic air breathed out of the cavern in heaving gusts.
Echo! 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 Echo!
Whoa. I can see why they wanted to move us out of town now.
I sort of understand now. So, Grand's terrorist group wanted to destroy the fountain because they thought that the source was there, but the source is here. And they weren't aware of the fact that the town was moved. Now, what I don't understand is why blowing up the fountain in Beacon Pines version 2.0 would cause the Ice Age. Does the source somehow extend through caverns underground to both towns? Or something? It says, "Aw, Google user research email I got asked me if I used Stadia." Poor researchers. The water was contaminated. But how does... I don't... Connect the dots if I'm wrong here, but I don't feel like that answers the specific question I was asking, which is, like, why would blowing up the fountain cause the Ice Age? Like, contaminated water's, like, icky. It's not, like, thermonuclear or whatever. Like, that's just... It's just an unexpected reaction is more or less what I mean. Like, I get... Like, it's... I think the implication is that the source is what caused it to Ice Age here. Once it was left unchecked or whatever. Although, that also calls into question, like, why the jam terrorists were, like, trying to blow it up if they thought it was this thing, and releasing this thing is bad. But why? Did they dig up a giant hole?
I think this is it.
This is the source? A dang hole? How do we smash a hole? I mean, you could fill it in. Oh. Hi. Oh, it's much more than that, my annoying little friend.
Kerr, where's Rolo?
I obviously didn't bring him with me. What kind of question is that? Anyway, I wasn't lying before. He's safe. Well, safer than you two, at least. Is he gonna push us in a big hole? Rats, it's cold. You just had to drag me all the way out here, didn't
Mr. Kerr
you?
gazed down the abyss in contemplation.
No, if you gaze into the abyss, it'll gaze back. It really is something, isn't it?
What did you do to our town? What is all of this?
Well, that's a doozy of a question. This is the source where they collect the unrefined...
Kerr scratched the back of his head.
Honestly, boys, I don't understand any of this well enough to explain it. Fact of the matter is, I'm not paid to know.
What do you mean you don't know? Ain't you in charge?
Oh, heavens no. My role is merely to flash a winning smile and manage various complications.
Complications like us?
You are a smart boy, Luka boy. He says, I assume the source is some super powerful artifact that gathers heat, and the water fountain was a good insulator. No, okay. I don't know if I'm confused or Chaz confused, but to be clear, there are two instances of Beacon Pines. There's Beacon Pines version 1.0. That's where the town originated. It's where we are now. It's the Ice Age. In the other branch, Gran and her jam terrorist friends detonated the fountain in Beacon Pines 2.0, which is where the town was moved after the Ice Age happened here. It's two different places.
My question is this. The area under the fountain in Beacon Pines 1.0 is the source. This seems clear enough. We're standing right here. But when Gran blew up the fountain in Beacon Pines 2.0, that still somehow caused an ice age. And, like, if the fountain itself was somehow the source, maybe I could understand why that would be true. But it seems like the source was always located under the fountain. So I don't know why, in a completely different location where the duplicate town exists, you get the same effect from blowing up the fountain and unveiling the same portion of underground area. Does this make sense?
His face contorted into a saccharine grin.
It really is nothing personal. Some people are destined to strive for greatness, and others are simply obstacles along the way.
Seems like you were destined to be a creepy lackey.
The point is that we all play our part in life. Mine just happened to be a lead in the role of a lifetime. And you happen to be extras, ready for your curtain call.
We aren't giving up without a fight. Your smile's not gonna be so winning after we're done with you.
Now, boys, there's no need for melodrama. It makes even a professional such as myself embarrassed for you. Let's change the mood a bit.
His fingers.
Scene change! There, that's better. Deal with them.
Iggy turned to Luka with a sly glance.
Why are you smirking?
Because I have a box full of fireworks and you don't.
Iggy waved the box into the air, threatening to drop it down the hole.
I mean, do you have something to light it with?
You know, he says, I want to assume there's an insane cave system created by the people to keep studying. I mean, that was sort of what I asked before, right? I don't know if you were like AFK, but I was like, when I was trying to work through it, I'm like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe there's something like what you described. Like, maybe they're all connected. But like, it sort of raises the question, oh, I could tell you. It sort of raises the question, like, what was the goal of moving the town if the town was still going to be connected to a source? Because it seems like the reason to move the town away from the source is so that they can continue to study the source here and not have people, like, interfere with it or know that they're doing that. But, like, if you move the town onto a new source, like, you still have the problem of people discovering that, and then if it's connected to the other source, it increases the risk of exposure. It's, like, possible that that's true. It just seems like it's not, like, it just seems like you go to a lot of difficulty to move the town without a lot of benefit at that point. Echo says, when she blew up the fountain, it put a hole in the ground, a hole that was connected to contaminated groundwater glue. They relocated Beacon Pines higher to get away from it. But I don't know. I feel like you and I have, like, different definitions of, like, contaminated groundwater. It feels like the source is something, like, quasi-supernatural. And, like, when I think contaminated groundwater, it's like, that's, like, that would have probably been the cause of people getting sick. I don't personally immediately jump to, like, that being responsible for the Ice Age hole. Never said they were the smartest hidden organization. I just, like, it's weird to create such, like, an elaborate ruse and, like, go in, like, half-baked. Like, to, like, not work through the full extent of why you're doing something so extremely expensive and catastrophically difficult. Stop. Let's not do something regrettable. Joke's on you. Regret is one of my specialities. Out of curiosity, what would happen if I threw these in your precious hole? How about... Wait, I don't think I like the way that's phrased. How about a little fire, Scarecrow?
Nothing. Nothing at all. By all means, throw that in my special hole.
You're a terrible liar and, like, super dupes creepy.
I'll have you know, I'm an exceptional liar.
That's far enough.
He plucked a single bottle rocket from the box and held it up with reverence.
Ooh, is he walking with reverence? Stop, you fool. Call off your goons.
After a long pause, Mr. Kerr flung up his hand with frustration.
Very well. You can all head back for the night. It's been a long day. I mean, the passage of time in this game is kind of bananas. Like, sometimes you, like, wake up and, like, 10 minutes, like, pass in real time with me, like, trying to figure out how exactly the source works, and then they're like, well, it's been a whole day. I'll handle these two from here.
Mr.
I like
Kerr
that the clipboard's
sighed
literally
into
just
the
walked
frigid
backwards.
air.
Save some animation trouble, I guess. It's just us now, Iggy. Can you put that down? What,
With a
like
nonchalant
this?
click, Iggy tossed the firework into the hole.
And everybody died. The look on his face. Ooh.
With a growl, Kerr leapt at Iggy, crashing through Luka.
Iggy tried to twist away, but in the struggle they both tumbled over the side.
Luka dove forward, bracing Iggy's hand just before it slipped. His grip was made precarious by the cold, wet snow. He could see Kerr further down, clinging to Iggy's coat.
You reckless child, what have you done? Luka, listen to me. Hold on tight and use the walkie-talkie to call them back. Now, what channel do I use? Doesn't make a darn difference, they're always listening. If you do that, the clipboards will just haul us up and snag us both. The only way you get out of this is if Kerr's out of the picture. Let's just let go and save yourself. If he lets go, we both die. I don't want to die, but seeing the look on your face almost makes it worth it. Mr. Kerr, you've had a long life. You're super old. What are you, like 30? Why don't you actually do something selfless and let go?
Mr. Kerr gasped with insult.
Long life? I'll have you know I can still play 25. You should have heard me sing the part of Phileas Young.
With a wild look in his eye, Mr. Kerr began to hum a proud melody.
Rum-dum-dum, perupity-dum-dum. Wow, can you believe this guy? Luka, please kill me so I don't have to keep listening to this. Oh good, I got the hum badge.
Luka's
That's a
hand
real
began to
humdinger.
cramp. His voice
Brown.
began to crack.
Kerr, just let go. Now, see, I learned this one from Titanic. You're supposed to use reverse psychology. Never let go, Kerr, never let go. Oh, you're right, Neko. It's definitely Hum Cop. Hum Cop is the next one. No can do. If you want to save your friend, you'll have to save me too. Luka, look at me. It's okay.
Luka felt Iggy loosen his grasp.
You aren't going to kill your friend like that, are
Every
you?
muscle in Luka's body burned.
I'm not his friend. Yes, you are. Nah, I'm just a no-good bully. Like you, Kerr. Iggy,
Luka
no!
felt his hand slipping.
And I told you what you need to do with bullies. I can't. It's the only way out of this mess. 2 birds, 1 stone. Makes sense for us to fall together. Wackadoos travel in
A calm
packs.
settled over Iggy's face.
Luka, let me do
Iggy's
this.
voice was colder than the bitter air billowing from the chasm.
Let me do the right thing for once. Yeah, honestly, this is a pretty effective scene. Like, I like what they've done with, like, Luka being inherently unlikable, and then you go through this journey with him, and, like, you get to know him, and it's pretty successful at making you care about him, even though he starts off crappy. This scene kind of goes on a little while, huh? Like, I feel like it diminishes the impact a little bit for them to spend so much time being like, just let me go. No, really, let me go. No, I don't wanna. No, but like, let's talk about it some more. Let me tell you why you should let me go. Well, no, I still don't think I want to. Even Iggy is better than Rolo. I mean, like, you're probably joking a little bit, but like, to be honest, like, I'm inclined to agree. Like, Rolo has not impressed me as a character at all, and like almost every other character has seemed better than Rolo. Ooh, do I have a thing here? Is it Hum Cop?
Luka had no choice but to blank Iggy's request. Oh look, I have both refuse and accept. I kind of feel like accept is like a dead end, so I kind of want to just work through that first. I feel like we're not supposed to kill our school bully after he, like, figures out how to be a human being. But I feel like we accept and let him do the heroic thing, like, largely because I feel like that will be a shorter story, and then we go on the other branch, maybe?
Luka had no choice but to accept Iggy's request.
To acquiesce to his request.
With a quiet blink, Luka watched a teardrop sail down into the howling void. As his fingers slowly gave up, he met eyes with Iggy.
Good. Smell you later!
The two silhouettes were swallowed by darkness.
Nani? I mean, I get that he had his whole box of fireworks, but like, what is setting them off, and why isn't it just exploding in the hole? In the special hole? Why isn't the special hole exploding?
It's one heck of a send-off, Iggy.
It's like a Viking funeral, sort of. Kind of. Not really.
Luka, you really should step back. What? Quickly.
Oh, I see.
Curious. Ah, but of course. Those fireworks of Iggy's must have been just the right amount of energy. We should get out of here before perennial harvest arrives. Not until you explain what just happened. Your friend's sacrifice just saved this town. For a little while, anyway. How? Tempest liquamine is a peculiar substance.
Oh my god, is Tempest Liquamine just Ice 9? Is it just Ice 9? Is it Ice 9 again?
It can change the relationship between matter and time itself.
I mean, it still sounds a little like Ice 9.
But doing so requires unfathomable energy. In a closed system, that energy can only come from its surroundings. A useful side product of this property being, by adding precisely the correct amount of energy to it, one can create a cryogenic cascade.
Why is time capitalized? Maybe it's a badge. Maybe that's why.
So the gunk makes things cold and fireworks made the whole freeze over?
Radical 6. No, I think that's something different. I think they got that from drinking the water castle.
That's one way of putting it, yes. As dumb luck would have it, the fireworks weren't strong enough to generate a runaway reaction. I shudder to think what would have happened in that case.
Alright, so that seems to be suggesting that, yes, somehow the fountain in Beacon Pines 2.0 is still connected to the source, even though that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, because this sentence here implies that by exploding Beacon Pines 2.0's fountain, they created a thermo-ice age detonation because they offered too much energy to whatever the source is.
We have some idea
the
what
Ice
that would
9.
look like.
It'll take them a good while to safely break through the ice and access the source again. If you know all this stuff, why haven't you been helping? Is it 'cause Nat kinda sucks? I have been, in my way. Each one of us has our role to play, and some of us sing young Phileas whatever. Iggy's role, it turns out, was to buy us precious time. Mine has been to observe and wait. Wait for what? You. Me? Why? What's my
A
role?
fierce twinkle flashed in Nat's eyes.
Luka VanHorn, you are going to save the world.
With a chuckle, Nat turned and walked west. Dumbfounded, Luka followed behind him, trudging through the snow.
Are we gonna found crash keys together?
Every step taking him further away from everyone and everything he knew, and closer to destiny.
Strictly speaking, I don't think that's true. The impression that I get from the direction that we took down the escape route before, if we walk west, we will be closer to our family, even if we don't actually go there.
To be continued in Beacon Pines, Pines Harder. Revenge served cold. Second time's a charm? Wait, that's it? This ends with a crummy cliffhanger just when it was getting good? I was even starting to like Iggy. No way. I refuse to be associated with some never-ending parade of sequels. Let's go back and find something more definitive.
Interestingly, we can't be Crooked Cop. I'm genuinely a little surprised by that. Let's see if we can fit in the refuse path. At least until, like, another chapter break, and then if that's the case, then maybe we'll call the stream there. Return to the past now. I so wish I could get that sound effect. It just kills me. That's so hard to find. Better go ahead and refuse that offer.
Luka had no choice but to refuse Iggy's request. He tightened his grip and reached for the walkie-talkie in his pocket. A wild delight crept onto Mr. Kerr's face. That's a good lad. Now, radio for help. Iggy begged Luka with his eyes one last time, but Luka pressed the button and called out. We need help. Mr. Kerr is in danger.
Would have been funny if it went through all that and then he just shouted like Baba
It
Booey.
wasn't long before they were once again surrounded by clipboards. Mr. Kerr sighed with relieved frustration. There you are. You really are a worthless lot, aren't you? Mirror, now. A clipboard dutifully produced an ornate ivory hand mirror, and Mr. Kerr began preening his tousled hair. Ah, that's better. Mr. VanHorn, I applaud your sharp thinking under duress. I'll put in a good word for you with the founder. Take them away.
Would the founder be a Valentine? Feels like they would be, right?
A swarm of hands
Or maybe the founder
overpowered
of the
Luka.
company.
The last thing he saw before a cloth bag was pulled over his head was the defeated look on Iggy's face. The end.
That was slightly less productive than I had figured it would be.
I think this was one of those times where doing the right thing was the wrong thing.
Really not a whole lot to that, huh? I mean, there's still clearly some ability to get up here. Possibly some further here.
I don't need a map to get to Bonetown.
No, I wouldn't say that I need a map right now. I'm more just trying to figure out how much of this chart I think exists to see if I should, like... I mean, I don't think I can finish the game today, which is surprising. Thought that would be possible. So that being the case, how much time do I think is left in the game? I mean... really don't think there's much going, like, back this far. And, like, this looks pretty dead-endy over here. So, like... Those break and rumble are used up. I kind of thought that was going to branch in the other direction. So I got Hard Cop, and then at some point I need to get something that's an alternative to Shame. And I honestly don't remember what I even used Shame for. Yeah, I might save it for next week, but let me do something first. Is Is there one of these that will actually let me go where I want to go? Yeah, the only option currently is hard cop. And then on the hard cop path, I'll probably get something to alternate shame. I just want to go and see, like, I got, like, a couple, maybe just one word that might be used on fishing, but I can't think of one of these that I think will freely let me... No. Wait, I think I know. Maybe chill?
In the past, he found the
I
best
just
way
wanna-
to deal with an enraged Roxy was to be a little chill.
I just wanna see if I can access the fishing. So, like, we've already done this. So I'm, like, skipping through this. I just want to go to the fishing flashback. I think this is the quickest way to do it, because most of the decision points are sort of in the middle of the story, but this one is kind of just, like... Then they leave, and then you can kind of do what you want. So let me just see if I can, like, crooked fish or something. I don't know what that looks like, but... I feel like eventually something interesting will happen from all this fishing. Yeah, crooked.
Luka tied a bent nail onto the line. If all you have is a hammer...
Off tomorrow? Yes, as I've mentioned a few times between last week and now, I'm not streaming tomorrow. There's many reasons for it, really. What did I get? Is it a ticket? It's a photo of you and Uncle Joseph. Let me see that. Huh. Look at those two young fools. How did it end up at the bottom of the pond? Who can say? Some things are just hard to explain. Have you ever heard of Ice 9? I miss Uncle Joseph. How come he doesn't come fishing with us anymore? Well, he's busy. And also, he hates us, son. What's a new job got to do with him not fishing with us?
Picture an egg.
It's, complicated. Like I said, some things are hard to explain. I think I'm close. This blanket is full of fishing trophies. I feel like one more and I got this. Is there a way I can save on this page? Because it doesn't seem like it saves until I... Maybe I plug this in and save there? I'm sure it'll save after that.
They'd run the classic good cop, hard cop interrogation.
Hard seems like a weird choice here. I have to assume that, like, hard will come up
Rollo
somewhere else
brandished a steely gaze.
as an option.
I've got this. Read about it 100 times. Rollo swaggered past
Still
the chair
hasn't
which
saved?
propped up the slumping Hiram Tolliver.
It still hasn't saved? Now it's saved. That's weird. That's weird, my bro. My buddy. Hey, it's me, Big Vasco. It seems like you all might be as tired as I am. Hopefully you're still enjoying the game. I am. I feel like this game's got, like, a pretty good pace to it. Like, I feel good about the... Like, some of the stuff I feel like I intuit earlier than the game wants me to know it, which is, like,
Giraffe.
fine. I don't actually know what this game is rated. I don't think it's, like, meant for kids, but, like, I also am, like, super narratively literate because I'm, like, a super weird person. So, like, I don't know. I feel like it's been, like, a pretty good pace of, like, learning stuff, and I like... Actually, you know what? You know what? For real? This game does well. One of the things that endears me to the first two Zero Escape games that Zero Time Dilemma does terribly, which is that it uses its characters really well, and it uses them effectively in different story contexts. So, like, you know, we finished playing 999, so, you know, like, there's a path where you, like, talk to Seven, like, multiple times, and you get to sort of know his whole backstory, and, like, some of that, like, intersects with, like, learning about the background of the situation you find yourself in, and, like, that's really interesting. But then, like, you can also go down, like, a whole separate branch and, like, get to know, like, Clover, like, really well, or whatever. Like, I like that the characters are both, like, a method of advancing the story, but also are fleshed out characters. And I think that this game does that well too, where it's like, like here you're spending a lot of time with Beck, and like now you're finding out like more about Iggy. And like on this path, you're sort of like just generally interacting with like the townsfolk and like learning that they're all kind of involved in this thing. Like, I like how that all plays out. I like that even though I've had like a broad sense of like what's going on in the town, I'm still not really entirely sure what's going on. And like as silly as the thing we've discovered that like the whole town was just like moved over, like it sounds silly on paper, but like it doesn't seem unrealistic with the world that we've created. Like there's a lot of games where if you tried something like that, I'd be like, that's so stupid. Like, what are you talking about? But like it kind of works in this context. I'm not even sure what it is that makes that work exactly. But like I'm still really enjoying this game. My biggest gripe is just like the slight weirdness and inconsistency of like how useful the charms are, in that like many of them don't seem to be useful at all. My guess is that like there's a decent number of them that contribute mainly or solely to like getting a trophy for fishing, which is fine if true, but like I do feel like it detracts from like the cool idea here, and I do feel like I wish you had more opportunities to like actually have a choice at the time that you first find these like branches. That's a good theory, Neko. Since there's like clearly established time loop, which like this shows, or this is very much like, this is like dark if all the characters were animals and there was like way less sketchy romance. It has like weird similarities. It just doesn't have the like strong theming that like everything happens because it always happened. But yeah, that's interesting that the reason that when the old Valentine, when Sharper Valentine died, he insisted that they had to take care of young Valentine because he's him. It me. I don't know why that would be the case, but I guess maybe he was involved in like uncovering the original source or whatever. Still seems weird that the source runs so broadly, but I assume the game will address that at some point. Also, yes, Jason. Much Jason. Never a bad time for Jason. Always a bad time for my extremely terrible this
I
thing.
might get wet down there.
Yeah, that's just not good. That's just not a good thing for me to have done. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the stream. Somewhat effective, but it's questionable as to whether it was a good effect or not. Yeah, somewhere on the couch behind me, I've hidden a Squirtle. If you can see a Squirtle like this guy up here, that one's not a secret. I'll give you all a moment to consider where I've hidden the Squirtle, because of course the Squirtle carries with it some secrets that may yield good luck in the week to come. Yeah, I guess we'll play more Beacon Pines next Friday. I don't know what to do other than that. I'm thinking that I might like to try and finish Murder by Numbers and Lamplight City, either like by the end of the year or more likely early into next year. And then still have to sort of figure out what to do after that. I have a vague idea. Might depend on how stuff plays out. But like, man, I'll tell you, last month really took a lot out of me. It's not great. Any other guests? I see Queen Naomi, the Poohs, I think Neko. Oh, Neko guest Giraffe. Sure. That'll do it. Let's go find out. I never tried without biting, because there wouldn't be involved. There's no biting in this process. Alright. Neko's guest was first. Got our giraffe back here, as always. Oh dear. It was concealing our bat friend. It's probably not going to get a lot of time on the couch, since he's very much like a Halloween sort of friend. Figured I'd hide him one last time for a while. He's a bat. Unfortunately, not so much Squirtle. I think Arg had said hidden between the Poohs. Well, I'll tell you, there's nothing between the Poohs, but sort of behind both of the Poohs was Pooh's good friend Eeyore. Poohs and Eeyore all hanging out. Though not so much Squirtle per se. Not so much Squirtle. I think that was yeah, and then Queen Naomi, Queen of Narwhals. And yeah, it turns out that yeah, there was actually like a little squirrel guy hanging out back there. Look at that. So congratulations to my mom who guessed Squirtle in its location. I mostly hid behind Naomi because I wanted to end the stream holding big Naomi. Probably need a hug after this week. Maybe you do too. Thanks for watching though. I appreciate it. No stream tomorrow night. I got some stuff to take care of. Should be back normal next week. 6 p.m. Pacific, which should now be sort of consistent between time zones since we will be changing back this weekend. And then yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll put up a poll or something to determine which of Lamplight City or Murder by Numbers comes up first. Although maybe I just pick Lamplight City because as annoying as it is to run it, I will have to do less continuous voice acting. And then when Beacon Pines is done, I can go back to that game and try to remember what voices I was doing. Beyond the Australian accent that I definitely cannot pull off, but keep trying and keep coming up Cockney. But that'll do it for this week of Vasco Stream. Sorry it's a bit late, but it's been a rough time and I kind of need a minute. But we'll be back with it, and look forward to seeing you all again next weekend. Thanks. We got a whole hype train today, and we got like a hippo eating a cookie emote. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for all the resubs and Demolition for gifting and getting that pretty nice number and everything. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you, and I hope to see you again soon. Won't be here tomorrow, but I'll catch you next week, usual times. I think that's everything. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining for Beacon Pines.